and his end of watch date. Earlier this week, the community came together to honor Officer Roscow and support his family. The Injured Police Officers Fund hosting a fundraiser at Nevada Coin Mart. That happened on Monday. All the proceeds from the vendor and food sales went to the officer's family. The owner says it's something that people are eager to support because officers put their lives on the line every single day.
News, and I wanted to donate, contribute. You know, it's a sad situation.
People just need to basically, respect them, that they, police officers are families, and, people out there that they're supporting as well and stuff. They're not just this, a guy in a badge out there and stuff trying to do whatever and stuff. They're actually out there trying to look out for people and stuff and do the right thing.
Grayson and Andrew, they were described as his pride and joy. If you want to donate to the Injured Police Officers Fund and help his family, you can head to the link at the bottom of your screen, ipof.vegas.
So we are watching that happening now. As you can see what those officers are doing there, and those marshals paying their respects to Officer Jason Roscow, strapping that casket to that truck as they will continue with the procession through our Las Vegas Valley. We are going to watch the route this morning. We're going to keep you updated every single step of the way here on ARC Las Vegas, so don't change the channel. We've also got it streaming on news3lv.com if you need to step away for any reason, want to take it with you there on your phone. We'll be live from that procession starting there at the mortuary. We'll be live from the church with our Fidel Moreno Meza, and we'll be live with our Andrew Nomura watching live at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign as they roll through.
This week, a full day of action on CW Sports Saturday starts with number 23 Clemson at FSU, then Virginia at Virginia Tech. Then, Justin Allgaier kicks off his title defense in the NASCAR Xfinity Series from the Daytona Superspeedway.
Saturday at 9 on the CW Las Vegas.
I'm asking the university for $500 million. What should I wear?
I'd go no bra.
Weeknights at 7 on the CW Las Vegas.
At Aldrich Law Firm, we specialize in helping injured people navigate the doctors, mounting medical bills, and insurance claims after an accident. Aldrich Law Firm can help protect your rights. Don't do it alone. I'm John Aldridge. Call me today and let me fight for you.
For no matter what crosses your path, get coverage confidence with AAA insurance.
Get more for less with Nissan's epic offering of 6 2025 models starting under $30K. Like the award-winning Sentra, the best-selling Rogue, and the all-electric Leaf. All with available Safety Shield 360. Visit your local Nissan dealer to check out the affordable lineup of Nissan vehicles today.
Now, get a low $229 per month lease or get up to $1,250 total savings on the 2025 Nissan Sentra.
Weather disasters, fires, floods, viruses. You really never know. BeReady.tv will help you be prepared. Be prepared to evacuate or to shelter in place before it's too late. 72-hour deluxe emergency kit. Solutions to food and power needs. Go to BeReady.tv and get what you and your loved ones need to be prepared while supplies last.
For refreshingly good service, get coverage confidence with AAA insurance.
At Aldrich Law Firm, we specialize in helping injured people navigate the doctors, mounting medical bills, and insurance claims after an accident. Aldrich Law Firm can help protect your rights. Don't do it alone. I'm John Aldridge. Call me today and let me fight for you.
O'clock as we welcome you in here on ARC Las Vegas. We're able to show that live picture here for you this morning outside of Palm Mortuary as cars are lined up. Thanks so much for being with us. Evan Schreiber alongside Chloe Coast here this morning. That procession for Officer Jason Roscow, the fallen North Las Vegas Police Department officer, beginning any minute here. As you see, his casket is loaded on that white pickup truck there. as those fallen fellow officers are paying respects to their fallen officers. He's going to be escorted throughout the valley, including the Las Vegas Strip, to our second hour of ARC Las Vegas, and the team is in place this morning.
It is, you know, it's one of those really somber beginnings to the day. We are honoring this officer who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We have crews scattered all over the Las Vegas Valley bringing you this coverage of this final farewell of North Las Vegas Police Officer Jason Roscow. And we want to touch covering the procession. We also have our Andrew Nomura at the Las Vegas sign where tributes are being made to this fallen officer, and Fidel is at the church where that service is set to begin shortly.
Yeah, we're watching it all right now as you see on your screen just the countless number of officers from countless departments. They all come in here to share their moments and memories and pay their respects to their brother in blue who was shot and killed in the line of duty. As we're watching that there in the Central Valley at South Jones Palm Mortuary there. Let's go first to our Everett Cardwell, who is behind the camera this morning as our photographer Kirk McLemore is showing us this visual here. Everett, what was it like? Because we caught a little bit here on ARC Las Vegas. Can you explain what those officers were going through and as they loaded that casket right there onto that pickup truck?
And all that he has done for his community. This that you see behind me is the ultimate testament of how much he truly cared.
You can see officers, you know, lined up just a moment
We're
ago.
currently seeing here in Las Vegas, they're honoring everything that he's done for the community.
I feel like in this business, we cover, unfortunately, a lot of events, tragic events just like this. And I remember, you know, over the years, there are officers that come from across the country to mourn their fellow officers, their brothers, their sisters, when it comes to tragic events like what happened just the other week with Officer Roscow. But you could see that massive showing of support, officers across the country, here in Las Vegas, Southern Nevada, everyone coming together to honor this North Las Vegas officer who just lost his life.
All right, let's talk about what's happening this morning. So you in the community, if you're watching right now and you want to come out and pay your respects, let's talk about where this procession is headed. That long line of cars just driving off right there from Palm South Jones Mortuary in the Central Valley, as that long line of law enforcement agencies will be headed north on Jones. They're going to go up to the 95 over to I-15 South. They're going to head south. They're going to get off at Sahara, drive down the Las Vegas Strip, drive down South Las Vegas Boulevard, and head on to the 215. Head over. This is set to start in about an hour, 10 o'clock there, and that's where we find our Fidel Moreno Meza there this morning to see everything that's going on as those officers are getting ready to welcome the casket of Officer Jason Roscow. Fidel, what have you been seeing as that preparation is happening now?
Hey guys, well, the parking lot here at Central Church in Henderson is quickly filling up. Now, we've seen law enforcement from across really the country. We've seen, or from the county and the country, I should say, we've seen Riverside, which is out in California. We've seen officers from Utah. And of course, we've seen police officers from Reno. We also have several fire departments from across the valley. You can see that set up right here in front of Central Church here in Henderson. The services here are open to the public. That is scheduled to start at 10 this morning, and we have quickly began to see the parking lot here fill up. Again, as you mentioned, that procession just got underway. They're expected to make their way here to the church, should be arriving here around 10 this morning, and the services are open to the public. Again, we've seen law enforcement from really several states, California, Nevada, and Utah, coming here to pay their respects to Officer Jason Roscow. Will, of course, have more coverage on the services throughout the hour here on ARC, as well as on later editions of News 3 over on our sister station on NBC3. Guys, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Fidel. We're going to shift over and take a live look at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, where a local man is also paying tribute to Officer Roscow at this landmark. And that's actually where we find our Andrew Nomura with more. Andrew?
Hey guys, yeah, John Wadby, the man right behind me here, he had put up 17 back the blue flags at half staff this morning. If our Brad can zoom in to John right here. Yep, right behind me here. He's still here. He's been out here around 6 a.m. this morning putting out these back the blue lies flags. Now, here's the thing about John. This isn't the first time he's done this before. In previous times when officers have lost their lives in the line of duty, he has been out here, right here at the Las Vegas sign each time something like this has happened and put these flags up. This is just to show to their friends and their family of those officers that the community actually cares about them. They letting them know that their sacrifice is not lost. Their sacrifice was not for, their sacrifice is not lost once again. But yeah, this is currently right now what's happening. We are still waiting for that procession to roll through here on Las Vegas Boulevard. And when you see this, you'll see all the marquees up and down the Las Vegas Strip light up. And not only that, have the picture of Officer Roscoe up there on their marquees. They'll be taking the Las Vegas Boulevard, getting up on the freeway to the 215, and then they'll be heading down to Central Church down there in Henderson. We'll send it back to you.
Right on cue, Andrew, as you were talking about those marquees, we showed the video there on the Las Vegas Strip of all those marquees lit up with Officer Jason Roscoe's picture after he was shot and killed in the line of duty just last week. This procession all happening today, set to roll down through that Las Vegas Strip, set to pass a gathering of folks from out of town who are going to get a glimpse of this procession as it's happening, as it's pulling through, as everyone will take a moment to pause and pay their respects to the fallen officer as that procession continues.
We talked about how it's a very somber day, and the weather is almost matching that mood right now, because this is very un-Las Vegas-like scene, which we usually see sunny skies and beautiful bright weather. And today's just community because we had marquees with faces from Nevada State Police. The two officers, the sergeant and. Sergeant Abate and Officer Felix, and before that Metro. It's tough to take in, and these all recent. Just within the last few years, we've seen this.
In fact, we just saw the last 2024 when Officer Colton Dale Pulsifer, he was killed in his car driving home after a shift. This was December 12th, so it wasn't that long ago when he was hit by a wrong-way driver. That was on the 15 far northeast of us here in Las Vegas. As you're watching right there along the Las Vegas Strip, that procession still has a little ways to go before they reach Andrew's shot there with our photographer Brad Boyer giving us that look. This is so rare for North Las Vegas Police to have an officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty. It's rare for all of Southern Nevada. The last time this happened, the last time we had an officer shot and killed in the line of duty, Officer Trung Tai, October of 2022, when the last North Las Vegas Police Department officer killed in the line of duty was Officer Raul Paul Elizondo. He was tragically shot and killed when a suspect he was investigating grabbed his gun and shot him. Can we go back to that shot from our live drive there as our photographer Kirk McLemore is behind the wheel, our Everett Cardwell in the passenger seat giving us this look as the procession owns mortuary there as you're seeing those officers lining the street. We are watching that procession continue down the road there, and we're going to be tracking it all morning long here on ARC Las Vegas. But we do want to take a moment to talk about what has developed here with Officer Roscoe and the investigation that's happening now as the North Las Vegas community is grieving the loss, as we're finding out more about the case in the first news briefing since the deadly shooting, as Officer Roscoe's body-worn camera footage when that shootout started is giving us a glimpse of what happened in that North Las Vegas neighborhood on February 4th. Take a look.
Hands up, show your hands! Hands!
Officers were there responding after getting the first 911 calls of a man who was later identified as 25-year-old Alexander Mathis, was armed with a gun, throwing rocks at cars and breaking a window. That's when North Las Vegas officers got there just after 2. Police say Mathis ran off. Officer Roscoe was the first to catch up with him. Police tell us that Officer Roscoe told Mathis, "Show your hands." Mathis approached him with a 9mm handgun. That led to a shootout.
Officer Roscoe is seen moving to his left, using the parked Jeep as a barrier between Mathis and himself. Mathis approached him and the two exchanged gunfire. Mathis continued to advance aggressively toward Officer Roscow after Roscow was struck multiple times. Mathis was struck once by Officer Roscow.
North Las Vegas police are saying that another officer was involved here, that Luis Macias Venegas also fired one round and was able to give a new perspective in some of this new body camera footage. That police also revealed Mathis, the suspect there, has a prior criminal history, including carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, and what those officers are going through right now investigating this case. Let's bring in Phil Ramos. He's a retired Las Vegas Metro Police Department detective. He's joining us live here on ARC Las Vegas. Officers, they carried that casket out just moments ago, placed it on that white pickup truck. You have been through countless of these processions. So what is going through the mind of those? Maybe if you can put me in the minds of those officers who were carrying that casket, what were they going through?
You know, that's one of those things that's just a personal thing for them. You know, they're carrying the body of a fellow officer, and they know that right next to him is a dead officer. And you try to keep your mind clear because there's a lot of precision, a lot of technical things that go into carrying the casket, placing it. You got to march and step and all of that. So you can't lose your concentration on what you're doing, and let your mind go wander back to the loss of your friend that you're carrying right there. So it's, like Chloe said, it's so somber. We've had so many of these recently, man. I mean, my first one went back to the early 70s. Officer Jimmy Rogan, a motor officer, was killed, and we had a few years where we didn't lose anybody, but like the last few years, we've been losing more than our share.
So what goes through your mind?
Happened to our town. I was born and raised here. I can attribute it to is the increase in population. As the population grows, so does the criminal element, and so do the people that think they can get away with stuff like this. We don't know why this kid did what he did, like we were saying earlier, but hopefully that'll be answered after his autopsy is complete and the toxicology results are back in. But it just underscores the inherent danger of police work. This is a not that unusual of a call. Traffic stops all the time. You never know what's happening behind that driver, what's going on. So it reminds us of, you walk out that door, kiss your wife and kids goodbye, and you don't know if you're coming back, but you can't think like that while you're working because it'll affect the way you perform your job.
We are watching that procession take off from Palm South Jones Mortuary there in the Central Valley. They're going to head north on Jones. They're going to head, then come back down through the Las Vegas Strip on the 15, headed over to Central Church in Henderson. We've got our cameras live at that church. If you can, Phil, as we're watching our live drive follow behind that procession this morning, if you can take me inside that church and inside a funeral service like this, is set to start at about 10 o'clock this morning. What is his family going through as that massive swarm of officers will be there to pay respects? What do you think the family is going through?
They're drawing solace and comfort from that show of support. Nobody can say the right thing to them. Nobody can do the right thing for them. They just have to bear it, close your eyes and get through it. The fact that you've got hundreds and hundreds of people sitting behind you and supporting you gives them a measure of support and a measure of comfort. Then in the days to come, after the funeral pile up, is when it's really going to hit the family. A couple of my friends that I was close with, I stayed in touch with their family for about a year, and then after that, it was just a very hard memory. Some moved away from Vegas, others just resigned themselves to accepting the fact, and that's what you got to do. That's what life goes on. It takes a while for you and your life to go on, but it does go on.
Phil, we're going to watch this procession continue all morning long here on ARC Las Vegas and News3LV.com, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the investigation, if you can, as a retired detective with Las Vegas Metro Police Department. We're talking to Phil Ramos here on this somber Thursday morning. Can you walk me through, maybe from a situation like this, of course, where sadly we know that both the suspect and the officer were killed. What's next in an investigation like this?
Well, the investigators are just going to be going through all the paperwork that they have to do. They have to go interview every witness that they can, try and get some background information as much as they can on the suspect, see what his activities were the day before. The biggest question, like we were talking earlier, is why did he do this? What compelled this young man to start shooting at an officer, knowing that you get in a gunfight with the cops and
do that when the suspect has been killed in a case like that. How do you figure out the why?
That's the big question. You have to try and talk to the friends of the suspect if they'll talk to you, family if they'll talk to you. You don't know what kind of rapport you might or might not have talking to the family, because the family's going to be upset. It's just a matter of time before they get legal representation and demand to know why their loved one was killed by the police. It's obvious why, but it's hard to get from people that consider you to be the adversarial party in a situation like this. A lot of times they won't talk to the police about the loss that they've suffered, and sometimes it makes it harder to close it out and say, this is definitely what happened. I mean, was he high? Was he using different kinds of drugs? Was he have some kind of mental health issues? That all is what the goal of this investigation is going to be at this particular point. Everything else is done. We know everything else that happened. Everything's been documented. The hard part is pretty much done for the investigators. Now it's the why, and it's going to be up to what they can find out about this person's frame of mind when he decided to pull the trigger.
We're watching the body camera footage that was just released by North Las Vegas Police. You can watch the story. We've got it up on news3lv.com if you want to take a closer look. And Phil, just quickly here as we wrap up with you, I want to talk a little bit about the procession, because you said you've done countless numbers of these over the years, dating back several decades. As we are watching it all happening this morning, can you give us the perspective of those officers who are involved in the procession? What's it like for them to see the community come out and line the streets?
It's comforting. You feel good that you can see the respect and the feeling of all these people supporting you as you go by. Like I said earlier, we don't get a lot of thanks in this job, but this is a huge thank you. But this is also a huge sacrifice that was made, and it makes you feel, it gives you a little bit of solace. And you sit in the car and it's dead quiet in the car as you're driving, and your mind just goes and says, what if that was my friend? What if that was me? How would my family react? What could have Officer Roscow done differently? He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Absolutely nothing wrong with what he did. He put himself in danger like they have to do all the time. In this case, it just ended in the absolute biggest tragedy that we face every day.
Las Vegas Metro Police Department kind enough to join us here this morning as our coverage continues into the procession of fallen Officer Jason Roscow from the North Las Vegas Police Department. Phil, thanks for the insight here this morning. We really do appreciate it, as of course we are continuing to watch live as all of this is happening right now.
We have eyes all over Las Vegas, as it is such a heavy day for so many of us, especially the family of the officers, the friends, and you can even just see the strangers who have been coming, people who didn't even know this officer but were touched by this story. I mean, before he was tragically killed on February 4th, he was taking picture. He was doing a photo shoot with his squad, and his neighbors talked so highly of him. And it wasn't just him as an officer; it was him just being a good person and a father of 2 kids. His kids are 9 and 4 years old.
Yeah, 9 and 4.
And their father is gone now. It's just really heartbreaking, and I feel like we're talking about this all over again, because we were just talking with Phil. I feel like it's been happening a lot more in recent years with these officer deaths.
One of the signs of support we actually saw was from, you talked about his family, those 2 sons that he's leaving behind. His neighbors were putting up blue lights as a sign of support in his neighborhood talking about what a lovely man he was, what it was like to watch, from an outside perspective of them seeing him interact with those two young kids in that neighborhood. We're going to hear so many more of these stories right now. We're showing you 3 different angles here. We've got our live drive following behind the procession there as they're making their way on the freeway, headed down south. They're going to head down the 15, get off at Sahara, head past the strip there, through the strip, I should say, before they end up at the church there, Central Church in Henderson, as we are watching it all live this morning. And we'll stay updated here. Stick around, because at 10 o'clock this morning, that's when that funeral is set to start there at Central Church, and that's where we've got our Fideno.
The local community that has become embraced for this officer, but also recognition across the country. And we even have a story about a kid in Illinois, where Officer Roscow is from, showing respect for this fallen officer that is being recognized. We're going to show that soundbite.
Today, I am carrying the blue line flag in his honor. Before I begin this run, I would like to take a moment of silence and prayer to remember fallen North Las Vegas police officer, Department Jason Roscow. Officer Roscow!
That right there is Zachary. He's that teenager in Illinois carrying a thin blue line flag as he ran 1 mile in honor of our fallen officer all the way here in North Las Vegas. That run was organized and the video put out by the Running for Heroes organization. That's a nonprofit. They raise awareness, they raise funds for law enforcement officers who have fallen in the line of duty. As we are keeping watch. I mentioned Officer Roscow's neighborhood. Yes. I don't know if we can quickly show that here. Those blue lights that were set up there for his neighbors paying their respects.
And they were talking about how he was such a happy guy. They said he was the friendliest guy on their street. And they would often see him out there with his 2 sons, Grayson, who's just 9 years old, and Andrew, his youngest son, just 4 years old. Could you imagine? No. It's really tragic. It's awful. And you know what? I know officers who are in the force right now who are retired, and day in and day out, this is a difficult job. This is one of the most dangerous jobs. You are potentially not coming home. That's how big of a risk this is. And so not only are they covering basically what the worst of society is with, crimes and keeping order, but it's they put their lives on the line, and this is the worst of it when we see an outcome like this. And we have to talk about how 2 young kids under 10 years old don't have their dad anymore. And you mentioned, Evan, the neighbors talking about how they're obviously paying tribute to him, and they said he was such a friendly guy. It's really just so unfortunate.
They were kind enough to talk to us, and we've got the story up on News 3. It meant a lot to the neighborhood and to his kids and to all of us. We will miss him dearly, end quote. We are watching what's playing out in his neighborhood. We are watching what is happening right now with that procession as our live coverage continues. This is a live look from our live drive right now. Our Kirk McLemore is behind the wheel. Our Everett Cardwell's there in the passenger seat. Everett, you watched all of this. We want to come out to you to hear what you have to say, because you watched all of this as those officers lined up and then drove off from Palm South Jones Mortuary. How do you describe what you're seeing from the tail end of this procession right now?
It's an unfortunate day, Evan, but it was beautiful with the signal that family, friends, and colleagues were able to show for this procession. Now, the fallen North Las Vegas police officer, who we know as Jason Roscow, he served for 17 years here with this department, and due to him making an ultimate sacrifice last week, it was all involving a call where he approached an armed suspect. So this morning, we saw the community come together to honor his memory and service. From bridges to what we see on the roads, all of the servicemen in Las Vegas, they're here to pay their ultimate respect. Now, this is all in memory of his service as well. Now, the procession, it did begin at Palm South Jones Mortuary, and now we're currently making our way to Central Church in Henderson. This is where the funeral service will be held. Now, talking about respect, flags all across the state are half-staff in tribute to Officer Roscow. And speaking about support, there's been numerous acts of community support. We're talking fundraisers to blue ribbons adorning his neighborhood. Now, as we see the procession, we're reminded of the sacrifices made by officers such as Officer Ross. Isn't just a farewell, Evan and Chloe. This is paying ultimate respect for what he meant to his city and his family.
It's going to be a fascinating view, and we appreciate you talking about it, Everett. It's going to be a fascinating view that we're seeing here from Everett's perspective from our live drive, as Everett's going to be following along with this procession passing through. And what we're going to see on the side, obviously they're on the freeway right now. They're making their way onto I-15 southbound right now. They're going to get off at Sahara and then drive through the Las Vegas Strip. So stick with Las Vegas and news3lv.com. But you will see those thousands and thousands and thousands of community members, some who, of course, have never met Officer Jason Roscow, showing up to pay their respects in Southern Nevada, and we'll be watching it all happening live.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's something, not only are we talking about being able to see the visuals right here, but also ways that people can reach out and help this officer, this family that is, you know, in desperate, you know, in despair, really, right now. It's, you know, and we're awaiting it. The funeral starts at 10 a.m. at Central Church in Henderson.
Yeah, seeing this view from our photographer Brad Boyer, who's out with our reporter Andrew Nomura out there, out at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, where you see those thin blue line flags in support of law enforcement lined up at the sign there as they are awaiting that before the officer and his family at Texas Roadhouse. It was raising money for Officer Roscow, and we saw the community rallying there. This was 10% of their proceeds that went to the officer's 2 young sons. This happened earlier this week. The organizers there were basically saying how happy they were to see how supportive the community is being in this whole.
And it takes a community, it takes a village. Please remember my friend.
And that's something that we're going to continue to do, not just throughout this broadcast, but for years to come, because something like this, it's not something that you can easily forget, and it's just tragic that we've been covering multiple officer deaths just within the last few years. So with that, we mentioned the procession headed to Central Church in Henderson. That's actually where we find our Fidel Moreno Meza, who's joining us live this morning. Fidel, what can you tell us about just the general feeling as you're there?
Hey guys, well, there is law enforcement from really several states here. From the perspective that we've seen officers from Riverside, Utah, as well as just here across the state of Nevada, and of course a bunch of local agencies. Now, we do want to remind everyone that the services here for Officer Roscow are open to the public. They are set to start at 10 this morning. We've been talking about that procession that started around 9 this morning, leaving Palm Mortuary in the central part of the valley. Now, if my photographer can pan out, there is also the entrance here to Central Church in Henderson, which we have several also fire departments here, but you can see that the parking lot in the area is quickly filling up, not only with just law enforcement, but the public here from across the valley. Guys, we of course will continue to have coverage here. The session arrives here at Central Church coming up in just a little bit. For now, we'll send things back to you guys in the studio.
And we're going to have live coverage of that funeral because our
Yes.
cameras will be inside to show it to you here on ARC Las Vegas and News3LV.com. So we appreciate Fidel standing by outside as they are waiting for that procession to happen. We know it's just a huge show of support for Officer Church in Henderson as those officers are getting ready to welcome the fallen officer, his casket, that procession, his family. We're going to keep watch, of course. We've been watching a massive show of support, though, for a fundraiser. This is the Injured Police Officers Fund. They hosted this at Nevada Coin Mart earlier this week, where they were given the opportunity only from vendor sales, but food sales. If we checked in with our Andrew Nomura earlier this week, where he was there, they were making tacos.
He was talking with the owner, Neil Sackmarie, who owns Nevada Coin Mart right there, and he was saying, you know, he actually said he knew Officer Jason Roscow. So I can't even imagine, you know, how difficult it was. But you know what? He was like, you know what? We're going to come together. we're going to do something. We're going to help our brother. We're going to help his family. And so this is exactly what happened just the other day. And our Andrew Nomura was out there live, as Evan said, talking with Neil and obviously covering. They got some tacos. They had a taco truck fully paid for. And so every single dollar that was brought to this event goes to the family. And again, he's got 2 young sons, Grayson, 9 years old, and Andrew, who's just 4 years old.
Let's take a listen to what they had to say out at the fundraiser earlier this week.
I just saw it on news and I wanted to donate, contribute. It's a sad situation.
People just need to basically, respect them, that they, police officers are family as well and stuff. They're not just this, a guy in a badge out there and stuff trying to do whatever and stuff. They're actually out there trying to look out for people and stuff and do the right thing.
We are watching that procession happening now. You could donate IPOF.Vegas. Can we take that live? Can we show the live video of our Andrew Nomura where he's at, that perspective there from the Welcome to Las Vegas sign? Andrew's been standing by all morning as you see those flags in support. 17 flags there. And Andrew, let's hand it over to you to explain the significance as we are watching that procession. Going to pass by you any minute now. The significance of those 17 flags there is what, Andrew?
Yeah, well, those 17 flags resembles or signifies the 17 years that Jason Roscow served with the North Las Vegas Police Department. These flags, these back the blue flags put out by John Wadby, who had been out here since 6 a.m. John is really just a community member who wants to show always shows his support for our law enforcement family across really Clark County and the entire valley as a whole. But I want Brad to actually pan to the street right here as we can see in the distance those blue and red lights coming down. And as you can see maybe on the other side of the freeway here of Las Vegas Boulevard, it seems like time is standing still as we await this procession to roll through here, past the Las Vegas sign. As you can see, a couple of people are already there at the Las Vegas sign. Some of them unaware of what's happening, but they will soon find out how much Jason Roscow was loved here in this community. We've been telling stories about Jason Roscow all morning long. You mentioned how Neil Sackmary there at the Nevada Coin Mart knew Jason Roscow. He said that guy was a lovable guy. A big smile as we have shown his face and his picture here on this program. A lovable guy, and as you can see, police and law enforcement already making their way down here. I'll send it back to you all on this shot right here, and we'll let it go.
Andrew, we are watching as you're showing us those motorcycles. We had that picture from the traffic cameras overhead on the Las Vegas Strip, just showing how long this line of officers is. If you're just joining us here on ARC Las Vegas, just joining us here on News3LV.com, this is the procession to honor North Las Vegas Police Department Officer Jason Roscow, who was shot and killed in the line of duty just last week. As the North Las Vegas Department is mourning his loss, he was 46 years old. He leaves behind 2 young children, 9 years old and 4 years old. He, as Andrew mentioned with those flags right there at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, as you see those officers passing by right there, 17 years with the North Las Vegas Police Department. The statement from the department, they put it out pretty quickly after we learned who was shot and killed. That officer identified, saying Officer Jason Roscow was more than a colleague. He was a friend. He was a mentor, a valued member of our law enforcement family, and that his sacrifice will never be forgotten, and his legacy of service and bravery will continue to inspire us all.
And whether he had the badge on and he was working or he was just, hanging out with his neighbors, he was known as, a funny guy, kind of a goofball almost. They did a fun photo shoot with his entire squad.
I know.
Hours before his life was tragically taken way too soon, and it just feels like joy was stolen. It really does.
We've got these perspectives right now, and top left of your screen is what you're seeing from our live drive. Our Everett Cardwell is in the car right now at the back end of this procession. As you see Everett passing through Resorts World, the front end of this procession is where our Andrew Nomura is right now at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign there on Las Vegas Boulevard. What has been so interesting, and Chloe, I know you've been working in this Las Vegas area for a while now. I just got here about a year and a half ago, and sadly I was part of the procession. I was involved in covering the procession of the two North Nevada State Police troopers. What you see from all of this and what you're seeing from your screen is all these officers from all around the country who come together. You have departments from the Midwest, from the Great Plains, officers from the East Coast who drive in for this. Yes, drive in with their squad cars to take part in this. They've never met Officer Jason Roscoe. They've never met anyone from the North Las Vegas Police Department, but they know what this death means and the impact, and they just want to be there for support.
It's one of them. It's that brotherly love. It's that sisterly love that all officers in the line of duty share, whether they're current officers or perhaps they're retired. But it's that bond. I mean, it's only these heroes that go through the same experiences. You know, the rest of the community, we don't see what they see every single day. We don't see the tragic moments. We don't see the scary stuff. We don't see the worst of the cities that we live in. They do. They're always on the front lines. They're the first ones to call when anyone needs help. That's who is called. And these people, these officers are the ones who put their lives on the line, and it's not just them, it's their families, devastated forever because of this senseless tragedy, really. And I mean, we're taking it in right now, but all of that support, I mean, dozens and dozens of vehicles.
We saw earlier this week, actually last week, Thursday night, there was that candlelight vigil held in his honor. Just want to read you what Officer Roscoe gave the ultimate sacrifice for this community because he wanted it to be safe for you. That's what she told the crowd there at that candlelight vigil. He was a traffic officer for a long time, working on traffic cases before he decided to go out on patrol just last year. Shot and killed in the line of duty last week as we've been watching the procession ever since it started at Palm South Jones Mortuary. Our Everett Cardwell was there to see them drive off. He is following behind in our live drive this morning, and we do want to check in with Everett. Everett, the perspective you're getting right now driving through the Las Vegas Strip, because we brought it up just a few minutes ago, as you're seeing people lined up. I know it's raining out there, and maybe, just maybe, people are taking shelter as they're watching this procession pass through. But what's it like from your perspective to see all those folks lining the Strip?
Oh, currently driving down Las Vegas Boulevard. It is a day of mourning, but let me tell you this is beautiful. We just passed Resorts World where the whole LED wall was lit up with his information, his picture, who he was, and thanking him for what he did for the community. And as you take a look at the live drive right now, individuals, passerbys, they're not taking shelter. They're in the rain. And I saw individuals saluting also with their hands on their chests to pay their respects to Officer Roscoe. So this morning we're seeing the community and all of these police officers gathering to pay. This procession is marked by just an obvious outpouring of love and support by the community. And once again, this all started out at Palm South Jones Mortuary, and we are heading towards Central Church in Henderson currently for the funeral service. Now, in front of us right now, you can see the sea of blue uniforms and patrol cars, red and blue lights, and it's all here to honor a man known for his dedication and ultimately his bravery. Now, Officer Roscoe's legacy, it includes his commitment to public safety and the love for his two sons, protectors, and not just that, he's one of us, he's one of our own. Back to you guys.
We are watching those marquees lit up as well for Officer Jason Roscoe, shot and killed in the line of duty just last week. End of watch date, February 4th of 2025. The North Las Vegas Police Department officer being honored. It is fascinating to watch how the Las Vegas community just comes together for this.
This happens every single time. And you know what? We knew today was going to be a rainy day. And people are showing up in full force. They're showing their respect because this man was courageous. He gave everything to keep people safe. And, you know, everyone is wanting to make sure that, it is known that he's going to be missed so much. 46 years, way too young. And I can't stop thinking about his children.
9 years old, 4 years old.
Grayson's 9, Andrew's 4.
Yeah.
4 years old. I think of all the holidays coming up, the summertime.
I know.
It's just that they have, you know, I will say, just knowing a few officers, the way that these men and women come together to support the families of those who have lost their loved ones, it's really amazing, because for birthdays they'll do like a little parade, and like for the holidays they'll do extra special things. But things, I mean, for these two kids, things are never going to be the same.
I know we have the Injured Police Officers Fund puts that fundraiser together, and that's their job, is to make sure that these families are taken care of. I don't know if the control room is able to pull up that graphic of where people can make that donation. It's ipof.vegas, ipof.vegas.
They even have shirts that people can buy right now on the website, and that money is going towards Officer Roscoe's family, and it's right there again, ipof.vegas. You mentioned, Evan. You can buy those shirts. There are ways you can donate. Injured Police Officers Fund, you know, they've been doing these fundraisers year round for those who've already been affected in this community, and it's unfortunate that we have, you know, one more officer, you know, death to talk about. So we want to think that's the best thing we could do at this point is, you know, pay our respects, and find a way to, you know, make the life a little bit better for his kids. Again, it's never going to be the same, but I don't even know what to say. You know, really, it's heartbreaking. I feel like we just did this.
We just saw an officer who was killed in a crash, Officer Colton Dale Pulsifer. That was the last procession we had here in Las Vegas. That was just in December of this past year, December 2024. He was killed December 12th. He was driving home after a shift when he was hit by a wrong-way driver on the 15 northeast of us here in Las Vegas. So sad to say, we have done these processions before, and I'm sure these officers know this will not be the last one that they are involved in. We want to let you know that our coverage is continuing here, not only on ARC Las Vegas, but news3lv.com, as you are watching live there over the Las Vegas Strip with those marquees lit up to honor Officer Jason Roscoe. That procession, in about 15 minutes, they are headed right now for the funeral there for Officer Jason Roscoe at Central Church in Henderson. Respects at the church and welcome the officer's casket and that truck carrying his casket there to the church in Henderson, as our Fidel Moreno Meza has been out there all morning long to watch what's playing out and the preparation that's underway. Fidel, those fire trucks, those fire engines that are going to greet him at the entrance there. Can you give us a little perspective about what
we're saying really is a brotherhood of law enforcement, at least not just law enforcement, but first responders, right? You can see that the fire trucks here are getting shirts from Las Vegas Boulevard, right? And when we were talking with John this morning, the man who set up those flags at the Las Vegas sign, telling us that when the first car is arriving here at the church, typically the last car is still passing by. So that kind of gives you a perspective of just how massive this procession is to honor this fallen officer who tragically did die in the line of duty. And I do want to mention, you were mentioning it earlier, for those two state troopers, you saw officers from across several states, and that is also the case this time around. We've seen officers from across California, Utah, and of course here locally, the state of Nevada. Again, my photographer again showing you pictures of that flag going up as we await the arrival of Officer Roscoe's body here to Central Church. Now, we want to remind everyone that those services do start here in about 10 to 15 minutes, and it is open to the public if you are interested in stopping by here and paying your respects. We will also be live streaming that over on our websites for anybody that does want to watch these services. Officer Roscoe, though, will be finally laid to rest in his home state of Illinois at a later date. So I want to tell everyone that the services are happening here locally, but he is set to be buried again in his home state of Illinois. We are still awaiting the arrival of that procession here at Central Church in Henderson. Again, it's minutes ago, so it is a pretty lengthy procession, guys. We'll, of course, continue to keep you guys updated. If my photographer can pan that way, we are actually seeing officers begin to set up as we await for the arrival of him. Again, that means we should be expecting him now any minute here. You can see now a live picture of all the officers getting ready to line the roads right here at Central Church in Henderson as we await Officer Roscow's arrival here, guys. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, we're going to keep watch of your video there, Fidel. So as I'm sure you know, stay live. We'll check back in with that footage as those officers are getting set up, which means just about any minute now they're going to be rolling through there. But we do want to show you how this whole thing started there with that procession at Palm South Jones Mortuary, where those casket, put it on the truck there. The Officer Jason Roscow at the start of this procession, paying their respects and tributes to the 17-year veteran of the North Las Vegas Police Department. He's 46 years old, leaves behind 2 young children, and a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. And what I think we're watching here right now is just the countless number of officers. You see the camera focused in on that truck. What you don't see is what we've really been showing you all morning, the countless number of officers in that parking lot honoring their fallen brother as this tribute continues this morning, as we will check back in with that funeral for Officer Jason Roscow at Central Church in Henderson at 10 o'clock. If we can go back to that live video just quickly here on news3lv.com. Actually, this is the video of
going up, and you can see that evident by the fact that we're still watching these police vehicles passing by the Las Vegas Strip. This has been going on for almost an hour, and it's just that show of gratitude, that show of appreciation, and everyone's filled with sorrow this morning, but at the same time, it's everyone is wanting to be able to pay their respects, and I believe we even have Andrew, who's there live still at the Las Vegas sign. Andrew, tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, it's been a really long procession here. We've covered a number of, or I should say I covered a number of processions in the last couple of years, really. You got those state troopers along with Las Vegas Metro Police Officer Trong Tai as well. In recent memory, this is one of the longest processions that I've seen. You had a couple of, a whole bunch of folks from out of town. From Southern California. I've been looking to even Moapa, a number of them. It looks like we are approaching the end of this procession here, as it looks like traffic is getting ready to pick up once again. As you can see, our live drive vehicle passing through right now. But if Brad can actually turn around and show you this long line behind us, you'll get a sense of just how long this procession is as they make their way onto the 215. We're heading down there to Henderson for Central Church. You notice those the blue flags out here this morning. They will be out here. John Wadby, the one who put these flags up, he's still out here as well. As you can see, the traffic has backed up on the other side of the Las Vegas Boulevard, as people really just stop and take all of this in. A hero being laid to rest later on this morning, and a procession to go along with it.
Moreno Meza, because I believe that Officer Jason Roscow is going to be arriving at that church momentarily.
Yeah, are we able to take that footage live from Central Church there in Henderson? You see the firefighters who had set up those ladders right there have just unfurled that large American flag. As we've seen in previous processions here in Southern Nevada, we have seen those officers. They will take that truck, they will drive right underneath that American flag as they arrive there at Central Church in Henderson. So that procession, as we saw it just past Andrew Nomura's perspective there at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, heading down Las Vegas Boulevard, getting onto the 215, heading east, where they're going to get off at Russell and head over to Central Church there in Henderson. As our Fidel Moreno Meza has been watching this now, Fidel, we saw those officers sort of file in next to you there as you're showing us this picture. picture of the flag in the truck. What's going on next to you right there as those officers are getting ready? What's their mindset? What are their feelings right now?
I mean, the atmosphere, is obviously very somber, Evan. I haven't actually really had a chance to interact with many of them, but you can just take a look at the sheer amount of officers that have now lined the entrance to Central Church here in Henderson. There is a massive law enforcement presence here. And like I mentioned earlier, it's not just law enforcement, but also first responders. You have the fire department who is hoisting that flag here, getting ready to welcome Officer Roscow here to Central Church in Henderson. And again, for perspective, as you were mentioning earlier, the end of the procession was just now passing Andrew Nomura, who's at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and we are expecting them to arrive here within the next few minutes. Evan, Chloe, it appears that we are now hearing some of those sirens. So we'll, of course, continue to stay here on the live picture as we await the arrival of Officer Roscow here to Central Church in Henderson. Guys, back to you.
It feels like it will be momentarily when that will happen.
And that's what's interesting here is we talked to a retired Metro Police detective just shortly ago here on ARC Las Vegas as he saw our camera moving around showing Fidel. If we can keep this live picture up there from Central Church in Henderson so we can see what's going on here, as Fidel has mentioned that those officers might be arriving shortly. Let's not take this live picture down so we can show you this perspective, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on at that funeral right there, because it was Phil Ramos who talked to us here on ARC Las Vegas just in the last hour, talking to me because I was very curious to know what's going on inside a funeral like this, because he says he's been to countless processions. He says he's sadly been to countless funerals for fallen officers. And I wanted to know what the family is going through. And it was such an interesting thought for him to say that while it can be overwhelming, the whole law enforcement community that is there right now, all these officers you see lined up right now waiting for that procession to make their way through to the church, all of these law enforcement officers will basically figuratively and say that we are here to support you. We are here to make sure you are protected and covered, even as the loss of your father just rings so heavy in your family. Officer Jason Roscow killed in the line of duty just last week as we're watching the live video.
All coming together, showing their strength as a unit, as a group. I mean, we saw it with Officer Roscow when he was even just hanging out with his squad members. You know, it's such a tight-knit group, and it's such a unique job. These professionals have a unique set of skills in what they do, protecting the public every single day. And it's coming together, showing that strength for the family in what is arguably probably one of the most. I can't imagine there's anything worse than this moment right here, losing a parent. I mean, again, I keep thinking that the children, 9 years old, Grayson, Andrew's 4 years old. The officer was killed at 46 years old. I mean, he had so much more life to live. There was so much more left. And he, we played the videos on station,
right.
But our sister station, he had this, joyful laugh. He was always smiling. He was out with his kids biking in the streets and in his neighborhood. And his neighbors were like, oh, you know what? He smiled so much. He was just such a delightful man. And it's just, and that's why even his neighbors who didn't even know him incredibly well, but they've all lit up their entire street with those beautiful blue lights because everyone is showing up in solidarity for this one man.
And you talk about that solidarity, and it's so interesting. And we saw what Andrew Nomura had to say out at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign as we showed you the live video as the procession was rolling through. Just how many different departments are there. Yeah. Departments not only from Southern Nevada with Nevada State Police. Oh, look, our photographer is zooming in right now as we're seeing even corrections officers there from North Las Vegas. We're seeing officers from as far as Mawapa. We're seeing officers from out of state. For the far reaches. I remember talking, sadly, at a procession that I covered. This was in 2023 for the Nevada State Troopers who were killed in a traffic crash. You had officers from Indiana coming in who had never met those troopers, who had never met any of these officers here in Southern Nevada, but they understand what it takes to put on that uniform and what it means to put yourself on the line of duty, and they don't have to say much. They can show up for these processions and just show their support support. And words are unnecessary for them because they know what that family, what that North Las Vegas Police Department family is going through.
I believe it was 2015. There was an officer in Reno, Nevada, that was killed in a domestic violence incident. He went and he saved the woman, and unfortunately lost his life in the situation. And when covering his procession as a reporter, I remember showing up to the church for the funeral from NYPD. We had officers that came all the way from New York City to Reno, Nevada. But that just shows how important it is to show your support, to show respect, and it's that camaraderie that brings all of these officers together. And I mean, they drove here. They drove all the way to Nevada from New York, but it's what they do. They show up, and this is something that I would assume the family needs more than anything. But it's really, as tragic as this day is, it's beautiful to see this show.
AAA Insurance.
For no matter what crosses your path. Get coverage confidence with AAA Insurance.
3, 2, 1, it's showtime.
Hello. It's Thursday. We're live out of New York. And happy Galentine's Day. It's the day for the single ladies. So happy Galentine's Day to you.
Day for the single ladies. All the single ladies. All right. Oh my gosh, today was just a day. It was crazy today. I gotta tell y'all, I had a major cosmetic disaster before one of the shows, and because over the summer, my tooth, it cracked and it fell out. It's hormones. So it's like as you get seasoned and older, like your hormones start shifting. And so my tooth cracked and they had to pull it out. So I always make fun of people missing a side tooth. That's one of my jokes. I'm merciless on people for missing a side tooth. And now here I am with an open gap between two teeth. God don't like ugly. So anyway, I have this temporary tooth implant that I can pop in and out until they put the real, my gums have to heal. They have to put the real like implant in. It's like almost like a root canal. They put another implant in. So if you watch the show every day, y'all remember when I told you I went to Gayle King's surprise birthday party and I left my tooth at home and I didn't have time to go back and get it. So I didn't do my full smiles. Even when I took a picture with Oprah, I had a closed mouth smile, okay? And so I'm in this picture with the one and the only Oprah Winfrey, and I'm looking like my bunions is acting up, all right? So after when I saw those pictures, I vowed, I said, I'm never gonna leave my tooth at home again. I gotta make sure I got it. But y'all, guess what? Last week, I left it at home again. I got distracted. And right before the show, like when I'm standing there waiting to come out, I'm standing there, makeup artist says, Sherry, stop playing. I said, what are you talking about? He said, do you got your tooth in? And when I tell you, I went, oh, Jesus. Like, literally right there, they was gonna have a good time. And I was like, so I'm going, oh my gosh, my tooth. It was nothing I could do. So my assistant Edie screamed. She said, I'll go get it. So she ran up to Harlem right before the show as I'm talking to get my side tooth. But I knew it was no way she was gonna get it to me before the show had started. So now we're live. The show gotta go on. I am panicking. I'm dancing in front of y'all. I'm just panicking. The show started. I'm trying to hide that I don't have my side tooth. I'm like, and so as I was twirling, I wouldn't open my mouth. I wouldn't open my mouth. And so, literally, like and you know, normally I'll twirl, I was like,
I think I was saying to you, don't open your mouth.
You did. You said, don't open your mouth. And I'm trying to, and I was just like, Lord, I hope nobody notices. And you could see the fear in my eyes when I was twirling. And the whole time, so when I was like, hey, family, you know. So Edie must have taken a helicopter to Harlem to get my tooth because she got back here so fast. So we were showing a clip of something, and Edie ran for her life. We were showing a clip. Edie ran for her life to get that tooth to me. When I tell you, and then Phyllis, our stage, she was like, you want water? And I said, no, I don't want to wash it down and swallow it. It was like Mission Impossible. So I popped the tooth in, and when we came back from the clip, I was like, oh, no! So I keep saying, I cannot leave that thing home again. So, but I do want to let y'all know, because a lot of people have written in their comments who were like, was there something wrong, Sherry? Are you going through anything? People want to pray for me, you know. And there was nothing wrong. It's just that so next time if y'all see me half smiling like this, then you know. Because y'all check out my after show on the Sherry Show TV.
Subscribe. You know,
yeah, hit that subscribe button.
Sometimes weather or something preempts us in the city, but you can see us every night on YouTube at 7 p.m., but you have to subscribe so you get the alerts.
So you get the notifications, yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. But I was looking at this, and I like it. Pete Davidson is getting an idea of how he gets all the girls. Okay, so Pete Davidson has been some of everybody's boyfriend. He has been, when I tell you, he's been with Kim Kardashian. He has been with Ariana Grande, Kaya Gerber, who's 23. He's been with her. He's been with Kate Beckinsale, who's 51. And if you wonder why I'm saying the ages, it's because with Pete Davidson, nobody's safe, all right? And everybody that gets with him, they want a taste of sweet meat Pete. That's what everybody, that's his nickname. That is his nickname. He didn't just give that to himself with all the tattoos, because, you know, he has so many tattoos, it just was hard to see the real Pete. So I love this because he's removing his tattoos. He is. And he told Seth Meyers that he wants them all gone by the time he's 40. Take a look.
You also have sort of famously said that you're going to get rid of your tattoos, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, I didn't realize it would take. Like when I'm 40, it'll all be gone, like the chest and back.
And it's not even that they're like you're working across your body. Like don't they have to because they burn it off? Isn't each one like 7 visits to get rid of one?
It's at least 7 visits, and if it's black and white, it's a little easier. But if it's a color tattoo, it takes forever.
Is there any tattoo of yours that you've gotten rid of that you were happiest to not have to look at again? Okay.
All of them.
Well, Pete is revealing what he looks like without the tattoos because he posed in some photos for clothing brand Reformation. So he's giving us a glimpse of what the ladies see in him. Look at him, he's so cute, like he looks like a little 12-year-old. Just like this little young boy. I am gonna tell you, this is the time I say you wanna be hooking up with Pete. Because if it takes 7 visits to burn off each of those tattoos, that means he's committed to you committed to doing all of that. Because when you go to get rid of your tattoos, it screams, I've matured. It says, I'm confident, I'm grown, I'm sweet meat Pete. That's what that says. So for me, I love it. It looks so clean. I mean, even when he was talking to Seth Meyers, you can see that his energy is different. He's just like calmed down. I feel like his aura has just evolved. So I say congratulations, Pete Davidson, on whatever space you in. You look good. Now, this one right here, ladies, talking about Galentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is coming up, what is it, tomorrow. Anthony Mackie has found great success in films like Captain America. But Anthony says that dating is hard now that he's famous. So he split from his wife 6 years ago. But I'm sad, but I'm happy because he hasn't jumped back into the trust someone. How do you put yourself in a position to be vulnerable? How do you know what someone really wants from you when all you want is to just be loved and appreciated? I love this. And you know, Anthony Mackie is going to be here tomorrow. He is. To talk to him. And because I need to tell Anthony, I don't need nothing from you. Anthony, I don't care about your fame because I'm famous. I don't care. I want to tell, you know, it's just like that Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis Jr. song. It says, Anthony, you don't have to be a star to be in my show. I don't need your money, Anthony, because what I need from you is completely free, all right?
Moreno Meza, seems that his microphone's not working, so you're just hearing the microphone from that camera that is out there live, showing you that procession there. As we are seeing those cars roll in, you know, it was a long procession of officers that made its way down Las Vegas Boulevard,
Yeah.
past the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, into the church parking lot there, as you're seeing them get set up. You got actually an interesting look at part of the story that's going to be shared inside Central Church there in Henderson about Officer Jason Roscow, as you're seeing that North Las Vegas Police Department truck there that has his casket with the American flag on the back there. We're learning a little bit more about him.
Yeah, he was truly a special person. It's like one of those people that you could never, ever find someone quite like this man right here. He was known as a protector and someone who was friends with everybody. You could just see that in some of his videos, kind of showing his goofy side, even though, you know, they're getting ready to start a shift with the North Las Vegas Police Department. But this guy was just a happy man. It seemed like he was just always a positive person. He was smiling all the time, waving at everybody. But family and friends saying, you know, he was a protector and a friend to everyone he met. And it's evident by how many people are showing up for this man today. Officer Roscow of the North Las Vegas Police Department, serving there for 17 years. And I mean, it's moments like this that hurt your heart and take your breath away at the same time.
Those officers assigned to be responsible for carrying his casket through the church, as you're seeing them get lined up, ready to take him off that truck, Officer Jason Roscow. We're going to see a lot of people talking inside this church service coming up here this morning in Henderson, including the North Las Vegas Police Department Chief, Jacqueline Gravatt. City of North Las Vegas Mayor Pamela Goins-Brown. This was at a candlelight vigil that was held in his honor outside North Las Vegas City Hall, saying that Jason Roscow was a protector, a guardian of our community, a man who wore the badge knowing full well the risk that came with it, and yet every day he answered the call. We've been continuing our coverage ever since we learned about Officer Roscow shot and killed in the line of duty just last week. We've got countless stories of his heroism, countless stories of his dedication to the department, all up live on news3lv.com if you want to take a closer look, as of course you are streaming this live right now on news3lv.com. And we appreciate you sticking with us here. 1014 as our coverage continues right now at Central Church in Henderson.
Yeah, and It's something that we're going to keep a close eye on. We have live crews on the ground right now, obviously taking in these live images that we are seeing, and they're getting ready to carry his casket in as we speak. We've got the show of support, not just police officers. You saw an ambulance there. You saw fire trucks. It's really all first responders that are coming together for Officer Roscow. And it's to show solidarity. It's to be there for someone's family in one of their darkest days. And, you know, it's almost like the weather is reflecting the sentiment of what a lot of people are standing outside and feeling. It's cold, it's gloomy, it's sad. You know, it's difficult. And you said December was Officer Colton Pulsifer.
Yeah, he was killed in a crash northeast of us here in Las Vegas on the 15 as he was headed home. That was December 12th of 2024. You know, we had an officer shot and killed in the line of duty back in 2022, Officer Trung Tai with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. But the last North Las Vegas Police Department officer, the last time this department specifically has had to come together to mourn one of their own was 30 years ago, which is why it's so shocking for that North Las Vegas. When a suspect he was investigating grabbed his gun and shot him. You are seeing those North Las Vegas officers standing by right now as our camera focuses in to get you their view, their perspective from just outside that Central Church in Henderson, as they have been well, this procession's been ongoing for probably about the last hour and a half right now when they first loaded Officer Roscoe's Las Vegas police truck.
We had cars on the road for about an hour. So just think about how many, for this man, how many people in those vehicles. If you look at some of the badges, and every once in a while we're kind of able to get a glimpse of the different badges. We have people coming here from all the way across the country, as far as the East Coast. And it's to show to be there for their brothers and sisters in blue, and it's a dark day. It's really tough, and you know, they're getting ready to begin the memorial, and you know, this is the time where we're going to learn even more about Officer Roscoe. I mean, we do know, you know, the details that he served at the North Las Vegas Police Department for 17 years. We know he has two very, very young sons, 9 years old. Grayson and Andrew, that's 4 years old. We mentioned, so we're looking at one of the signs. So many of these signs, all these marquees paying tribute to Officer Roscoe, and it's really unlike anything I've really ever seen before. Is to see Las Vegas and the community just kind of show up and really show how proud we are and how grateful we are for those who do put everything on the line. And it just cuts deep when something like this turns the way it did, and you know, it's wanting to be able to show that love for extended periods of time beyond just to pictures on those billboards, a reminder of that.
That honor guard is standing by out there as you're still watching police vehicles file into the parking lot there at Central Church at Henderson, past that casket that they've been following along ever since this thing started, this procession started at about 8:45 this morning there at Palm South Jones Mortuary in the Central Valley. They made their way up Jones. They then went east on I-11 on the 95. They came back down the 15, got off at Sahara, went through the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, rolled through the strip where those marquees, Chloe was mentioning that billboard just outside the church paying its respect with that communication platform there to Officer Jason Roscoe. We saw all the marquees lined up along the Las Vegas Strip paying their tribute to Officer Jason Roscoe. Let's talk about what's about to happen here on ARC Las Vegas as we give you this live perspective. We got two angles right now, two cameras set up and ready to go outside, and then we'll show you what's going on inside the church to take his casket off of that North Las Vegas Police Department truck. As you see right there, Metro Police truck making its way past, getting a glimpse as that truck is stationed there, set up, ready to go. We're going to watch more officers file in. We're going to watch Twin Falls Police right there. Twin Falls Police coming all the way from Twin Falls. We're going to watch this play out here with that honor guard taking Officer Roscoe's casket off that truck. They're going to bring him inside the church, where then all these officers will file in, be ready for that funeral service that we will show you live here on News3LV.com and the CW as it continues all morning long here. Can we possibly, if the control room has it available, can we pull up what it was like, the Palm South Jones mortuary, when they first put that casket on that truck there, as those officers were standing by, all saluting. That was about an hour and a half ago there. So you're seeing that video there from Palm South Jones mortuary, and the perspective we got from our cameras as they brought Officer Roscoe's casket out of the mortuary, placed it on that truck when this procession first started. And as we've seen there, as North Las Vegas Police Department officers really had the front row view there for their fallen officer, paying their respects, saluting there, what you don't see in this camera is the hundreds and hundreds of officers off there to the side, saluting as well, from departments all over the country, from departments all over Nevada who may never have known Officer Jason Roscoe, who may have never interacted with someone with North Las Vegas Police, and yet they show up to support their brother in blue.
I've interviewed some of those officers who, aren't even from Nevada, and they say that it is their job. It is literally their job to show up to events like this. But it's that camaraderie. It's that the uniqueness of the career where they all have this bond, they all have this understanding, and they all have this respect. And that's essentially what you're seeing here. And, we're mourning the loss of this terrific man who was gone too soon. He killed at 46 years old. That happened on February 4th, just a week ago. But you have people from all over the United States, and it looks like
there this morning. As we know, Officer Roscoe is survived by his two children, 9-year-old and 4-year-old, his 9-year-old Grayson and his 4-year-old Andrew. As much of those folks there in fallen off, Phil Ramos, who was a retired North Las Vegas Police Department detective, he joined us here on ARC Las Vegas to sort of explain what's going on with this process, not only with the investigation, but what is going on inside that funeral and what will be going on inside that funeral. Because he said, sadly, that he has attended and been part of countless numbers of processions for fallen officers here in Southern Nevada. And you're going to watch not only officers of North Las Vegas Police, but you're going to watch officers from departments all over the valley and all over the state and all over the country literally and figuratively embrace that officer's family. We're here for you. We want to make sure you're taken care of.
And that love and support doesn't go away after today. It stays with that family for life. And that's one thing that we have seen from other unfortunate events where we have had to cover other burials of local officers. But okay, look, the cars, they're still coming.
Filing in.
It's been more than
still
an
filing
hour.
in. I don't know if we have the perspective from our live drive right now that was at the tail end of this procession. That's a live look right there from our Everett Cardwell. In fact, if we can, let's talk to Everett a little bit about what he's been seeing here in the last few minutes as he's driving, yes, on the shoulder right now, passing those vehicles that are still lined up. Everett, what's it been like to be passing all of them right now and be a part of this procession there as it's made its way down to Henderson?
I mean, the feeling is monumental, for being completely honest right now. But it's really the sights that grabbed me now. When it came to those that were paying respects to Officer Roscoe and his family, it wasn't just colleagues, it wasn't just servicemen, but we saw members of the military. We saw members of the fire department, but not just that. We saw individuals get out of their cars, starting from Las Vegas Boulevard all the way here, to pay their respects, saluting and placing their hands over their hearts. Now, with all of this happening, one thing was just obvious to me. I have lived all across this nation, and Vegas Strong is a real thing. To see the community come together is not just a brotherhood and a sisterhood of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, but it's a community. This is a community event, and everyone is here right now to pay their respects. It's a beautiful moment. Like I said, it's a tragic day, but it's such a beautiful moment. It really shows that Las Vegas is one of a kind. We all stick for each other, Evan and Chloe.
It's been interesting to watch you and your perspective there, Everett. Can you trip with those overpasses and people on the overpasses, some of them who probably were here just as tourists in town on a typical Las Vegas Thursday. What was that like to see everyone stop there?
Kirk, my driver photog, he pointed it out to me. I didn't even notice. And the moment I looked out the windshield and I was able to see it, every overpass that we crossed, you saw members on top of their vehicles just saluting, standing still in the rain. Now, this outpouring support of the community, it was really special. Now, Officer Roscow, it definitely shows that the love and commitment that he had to protecting this community, it meant more to just his family and those around him. It really affected everyone else in the city. And like I said before, the outpour from all of the individuals here in Las Vegas is truly one of a kind, Evan. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is going to be etched in my memory for a very long time.
We're watching that support right now with those officers lined up at the church in Henderson.
I think of some of the officers that I know, and they say, you know, as soon as they found out this happened, you know, it's a very tight.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties with Chloe's microphone here as we work to get that issue resolved here. But I do want to mention what we're watching on screen right now. And for those of you just joining us here on news3lv.com or on the CW as we are watching this happening right now, that is the North Las Vegas Police Department truck that carried the casket and carried the body of Officer Jason Roscow, the 17-year veteran of the North Las Vegas Police Department when he first started his service, June 18th of 2007, 46 years old, shot and killed in the line of duty. You are watching the honor guard standing by there, and what a patient, and we appreciate you being patient with us and waiting with us, as they are appearing to let every single vehicle that was involved in that procession file into the church parking lot there, Central Church in Henderson, before they do take his casket, take that American flag draped casket off of the truck, bring him inside for the funeral, as you've been seeing them drive in under that American flag out there, getting this live look here on the CW and on ARC Las Vegas, and watching on news3lv.com right now.
I was saying a little bit ago before the mic went out that I know a few officers, and one thing, as soon as they found out that this terrible tragedy happened, first of all of them changed their profiles to the badge that's covered to symbolize that they have lost one of their brothers. And it's just so tough when you have these conversations with people that you've grown to know, you've grown to love. And I think the words are just, it cuts so deep, because going into that role every single day, you never knew who was going to be coming home. You never knew if it was going to be you, if it was going to be maybe go on to do calls with every single day. You don't know if it's someone from your squad, because the amount of tragic events that officers face on a daily basis, it's wide ranging, you know, and it's also just that uncertainty. You know, they go through training, they do the best they can when it comes to protecting themselves and also protecting the public, but it's when something like this happens, it's that reminder that it could have been anyone. It could have been them.
This all happened live on screen. I think we don't want to do a disservice to those of you who might not know Officer Jason Roscow. So if we can pull up some video of him that was put out by the North Las Vegas Police Department, some of the clips they've shown to us recently after learning of his death while he was shot and killed in the line of duty just last week. He's the 17-year veteran of the department there in North Las Vegas, 46 years old. I mean, this clip alone, Chloe, we were showing it earlier last week. He was just having fun talking about some of his favorite things. Some of the things.
And he said he wasn't a Starbucks
wasn't
man,
a Starbucks
but he liked Dutch
guy.
Bros.
Loves Dutch Bros. Big Dutch Bros fan there in North Las Vegas. Officer Jason Roscow. Yes, he had a good laugh, even poking fun at himself and his fellow officers, saying he's a donut guy.
Yes.
So it was so interesting to see this man that was full of life, And some of the comments from his fellow officers and even his own police chief, North Las Vegas police chief, saying that I'd like to begin by extending my deepest condolences to his family and to the men and women who had the honor and privilege of serving with him for more than 17 years. We have learned so much about this investigation into his tragic death. If you want to get yourself caught up, news3lv.com, where just yesterday they released some of the body camera footage. But as we talk about his life in general, it's just been a full outpouring of support, and who has been with the department since 2007.
I will say that video is very difficult to watch, and obviously we pause it at some of the pivotal moments because of it's very tough to watch. But look at this man in happier times. Did you see him always being the friendliest? They described him as the friendliest guy on their street, and that's why they all turned their lights blue in solidarity for him. You see all these pictures of everyone he's worked with. Look at that big hug to the pup.
Yeah.
And clearly a lot of love for what he did for his community, what he did to protect people. And that's actually one of the ways that his family and friends best describe him as. He was a protector. He's someone who loved and protected and was friends to all. That is a direct quote from some of his family.
Officer Roscow leaving behind 2 young sons, a 9-year-old Grayson and 4-year-old Andrew. And what's great about the law enforcement community is you're watching live out there as they are getting ready to bring his body inside the church for the funeral service. What's great about the law enforcement community here in town is they come to support that family. Not only with emotional support, but financial support as well. The IPOF, the Injured Police Officers Fund, IPOF.Vegas is where you can actually make a donation to his family and the foundation itself as they work to support all officers who are not only hurt, but killed while in uniform, while in the line of duty. We saw several fundraisers earlier this week throughout the Las Vegas Valley, all raising money and helping out that IPOF foundation, that fund, IPOF.Vegas, again, where you can help out the family of Officer Jason Roscow, as you see everyone lined up there.
They actually have a few events coming up too, and that's, we often interviewed, some of the officials over at the Injured Police Officers Fund for these, some of these fundraisers are, because it helps, the kids even go to college. And it's the significant others of the fallen officers. So your help just goes so far when it comes to being able to provide that support, especially when there's just such a gaping hole from a loss like this.
And this community, our community here in Southern Nevada, does such an incredible job, not only when officers are hurt or killed, but just coming out to support so many causes and interests that we feel strongly about here. It was so interesting to see, and we've got the video up on news3lv.com from earlier this week, where Officer Roscow's patrol car was set up at the North Lawn. They had that patrol car there for anyone who wanted to show up and pay their respects after he was killed in the line of duty. This was outside their North Central Area Command there on Deer Springs Way. There were so many flowers and messages of gratitude. He's been doing this job nearly 20 years. The least I could do was bring a flower and show my respect to him.
And not just respect here in Las Vegas, but we even showed clips of a young boy who's in Illinois who did a whole mile run to show his his sorrow, his grieving, and he, understanding of this loss.
Yeah, we are looking at that live view there, and obviously the camera moving around there. So apologies to those of you watching right now as our photographer works to get a better angle there. I know we've got multiple cameras out there at Central Church in Henderson, so we want to be able to give you multiple perspectives if we can, even if one of those shots has to be moved, one of those cameras has to be moved, or hey, in some cases, we've been on the air now for a long while. If the battery dies, even if the battery is lost there, we still want to give you a perspective of what's going on. So we're going to keep you updated here as we now see some movement. If we can get the cameras pointed at that truck so we can get a look, every camera we have possible at that truck, because we are seeing that movement now from that honor guard ready to take Officer Jason Roscow inside there for the funeral set to begin here this morning as we're watching live on news3lv.com and our CW station.
It's something to be said about just the type of weather we're seeing today. It matches the mood. 14 days since it's rained here in Las Vegas, and today's the day.
Of all days.
Today's the day it started. And I mean, honestly, out of all days, this is going to be the main event when it comes to our weather being, you know, it matches the feeling, but it's interesting how it just coincides with the events that we're watching right now.
You are seeing the drummers there set up. Going to hear bagpipes any minute as that corps is ready to go. And it looks like, because I believe we saw Everett Cardwell's perspective from the live drive, that they had finally made their way into Central Church in Henderson. So we are seeing the color guard set up with those American flags right there, Nevada state flag, getting ready to take off him through this procession. It started about an hour and a half ago at Palm South Jones Mortuary in the Central Valley, as they made their way not only there through the Central Valley, but then down the Las Vegas Strip, down Las Vegas Boulevard, where we saw so many folks lined up, saluting from the top of their squad vehicles. And on a typical Thursday here in Las Vegas, you had tourists who had probably no idea of what's going on, and now they're getting the perspective from someone they're getting the view of someone they had never met before, someone they had no idea about. Of course, they're seeing the marquees change on the Las Vegas Strip as a sign of support for Officer Jason Roscow. They're seeing this massive procession roll through the Las Vegas Strip for fallen Officer Jason Roscow. As we're keeping you updated here on News3LV.com and the CW, as they are getting ready for that funeral set to start this morning, that we'll be providing you live coverage continuing along here. What's interesting, and we've got it pulled up here behind the scenes, is you're getting a look at the program that's going on for today. And I don't know if you're able to, if you can share what you're seeing with that program, that you got almost a screenshot of it from inside the church there.
Yeah, Honor Guard procession by the North Las Vegas Police Department Honor Guard, multi-jurisdictional Honor Guard. That's how this is all going to start. And then we have Pastor Michael Kitchen of Central Church in Henderson that is going to be speaking first. We have some of the speakers that'll be talking with North Las Vegas Police Department, Chief Jacqueline Gravatt, Lieutenant Kenny Lee from North Las Vegas Police Department, Sergeant Horn, and Michael Paul Roscow. And then there's going to be a video presentation and you know, a memory shared of this man gone too soon at 46-year-old. Just last week, Tuesday, February 4th, was his end of watch.
We have seen so many stories on News3LV.com. We've got them posted of the different tributes that have been popping up around the valley. The candlelight vigil from just last week, Thursday night, that was held in Officer Roscoe's honor, held outside North Las Vegas City Hall. We saw hundreds of community members show up there. We saw local leaders show up there. I don't know if we're able to drop the graphic right there on screen that's covering up that truck and those Honor Guard members, but you can see them standing at attention, waiting to take Officer Roscoe there into the church. And we're going to hear a lot of those stories here, and we'll let you listen in here on the CW with his neighbors, his friends, his family members speaking out about the fallen officer that they are remembering, and his two young sons, who the North Las Vegas police chief. We saw the city of North Las Vegas mayor at that candlelight vigil. We saw the Injured Police Officers Fund president, their officer there, saying that. Talking about Jason Roscoe, basically saying that he would always drop everything to make sure that he was there to help a friend in need. That fund, that foundation, that organization now tasked with making sure that his family is taken care of, that those two sons are taken care of, as the whole community is mourning the loss of that father, of Officer Jason Roscoe right now.
And one thing you can do right now, we've been mentioning it during this entire broadcast, IPOF.Vegas. It's the Injured Police Officers Fund. They do fundraisers year-round. They actually have a few on their website right now that they're getting ready for. But immediately on the front page, you will see information about Officer Roscoe and how he how he served the North Las Vegas Police Department for 17 years. That's almost 2 decades. And but if you go to that website, it's the easiest way to be able to provide that support. You know, and maybe if you couldn't be here today, and that's why you're watching this procession and this funeral on the news right now, it's a way that you can, you know, show your support for the family. Again, his 2 young sons, just 9 and 4 years old, now going to have to live for the rest of their lives without a dad. And it's really just heartbreaking. So, you know, that's why I feel like in this community, we've always been known, you know, we're Vegas strong. And it's organizations like the Injured Police Officers Fund that, you know, I feel like really in such a tragic time can help bring maybe a little bit of hope moving forward to the families affected by this senseless tragedy.
The 46-year-old North Las Vegas Police Department officer shot and killed in the line of duty last week, February 4th, his end of watch there. As you are seeing the family taking its place behind that truck right now, yes, they have their umbrellas. Yes, it's raining after 214 days of a dry streak here in southern Nevada, raining for the funeral of Officer Jason Roscow.
I can't help but think it's symbolic. It's a somber day. The weather matches the feeling of what most of this city is in the mood of right now. It's a difficult time, and you know, we have all these officers, men and women alike, brave. You look at the badges. There are badges from all over the country.
We're hearing them, that color guard, that honor guard stepping off right now. We're going to pause for a moment here on ARC Las Vegas and let you listen in and watch their way inside the church now. You're watching left side of your screen as they make their way towards the church. Right side of your screen, they're coming into our perspective from our other photographer who is there. Let's let you listen into what they are seeing there with that drum corps and those bagpipes making their way inside.
Kill the shot.
And we apologize, but they do not have their microphone turned on there, so we're going to have to just describe to you what's being seen and what's being heard as those drummers are making their way inside, as all of those officers are standing by, standing at attention and saluting, as Officer Jason Roscow's casket is being taken in there at Central Church in Henderson. And it appears we do now have audio of those drummers rolling through, so let's let you listen in.
Ryan, you are looking at the start of the remembrance of life for Officer Jason Roscow. 17 years with the North Las Vegas Police Department. He was taken at 46 years old on Tuesday, February 2nd, just last week, keeping the North Las Vegas community safe. And hours before his life came to an end, he was you know, just being the kind of guy he was. He was being kind of goofy.
And it's so interesting as we're seeing the live video of those officers file past the family and friends of Officer Jason Roscow. You're looking at the live video. For those of you who don't know who he is, even what he looks like, you know, we saw what North Las Vegas Police Department put out, just some smiling images of the officer who's no longer with us, and how much of a joy he was for the department. I mean, as even their own department, than a colleague, he was a friend, he was a mentor, he was a valued member of their law enforcement family. Are we able to show maybe in one of these boxes that video of the officer so we can get a look at what?
At one point, he was, you know, he was doing a photo shoot. Oh, there you can see some of the images. He's hugging a dog there, but they were doing a whole photo shoot with the squad, and this was just hours before the incident happened, where he was fatally shot and killed. But he was, you know, at one point on his stomach. I think you're going to see it right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just being a happy-go-lucky guy. And his family members describe him as someone who is a protector and someone who is friendly with everyone. And I think you can just kind of feel that even when you look back at these images. You can feel that joy. You can feel that happiness. You can feel that light-hearted man, you know, who was in such a difficult career. I mean, this is the type of
17 years with that department specifically, 17 years with North Las Vegas Police, beginning his service there June 18th of 2007, his end of watch February 4th, 2025, when he was shot and killed, responding to a call in North Las Vegas. We are watching the procession happen live on the right side of your screen as those officers, those family members, those friends, those colleagues, all going to make their way inside the Central Church there in Henderson. And we wanted to get that interesting perspective of what these officers are going through right now. As cameras are set up inside the church, we'll be bringing you live that funeral as it's happening there. As the procession started before 9 o'clock this morning, we're now almost 2 hours in, and they are making their way inside the church, getting ready for that funeral service. But we talked this morning on ARC Las Vegas and here on our live stream on news3lv.com to retired Metro Police Department detective. His name's Phil Ramos. We wanted to learn more about how he and his fellow officers feel on a day like this as they watch this procession and this funeral play out, as he has been a part of many, many processions before. Let's take a listen as those officers are filing into the church right now. Before we get to that and the investigation and the process, Phil, I just want to ask you how you're feeling really on a day like today with this procession and with this funeral.
You know, it's ironic we haven't had rain today on this man's funeral. But it's kind of chilling, you know. It's depressing. I've lost many fellow officers over the years, and it just never gets easier, man. It just doesn't get easier.
You've been a part of these processions before. What's your thought on seeing the community line the streets as it rolls through?
It gives you a good feeling, you know. It gives you a sense of pride and a sense of, you know, we don't get a thank you very often, but this is like a huge thank you by a whole lot of that can't protect themselves, and to see that kind of gratitude and that kind of dedication from the public, it's heartwarming. It's touching.
We're seeing that Palm South Jones mortuary where that procession is set to begin. As off screen, you're going to get you'll see all those officers lined up to pay their respects to Officer Jason Roscow with the North Las Vegas Police Department. Phil Ramos joining us live here on ARC Las Vegas, talking about the investigation. If you can, Phil, walk me through that investigation, especially from a situation like this, where both officer and suspect were killed. What is next in this investigation?
Well, the who, what, and wheres are all answered. The big question right now is why. Why did this person decide that he wanted to have a confrontation, an armed confrontation with officers that were responding to 911 calls from people afraid for their safety? Was he under the investigation? His toxicology is going to be a big part of the investigation to see if he had any drugs or what was going on in his body at the time. The documentation, since there's not going to be any prosecution, obviously, the documentation is not at an extremely fast pace, but it's at a very detailed pace. You have to cross every T and dot every I. It's very time-consuming, voluminous work that has to be done because there's going to be a lot of questions afterwards.
And Phil, I want to ask you about that, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but you said obviously, and it brings me, to bring the point of, sadly there are no survivors here with both the suspect killed and Officer Roscow killed. So what kind of hurdles now do those detectives have to jump over in this investigation?
Just a lot of getting all their ducks in a row for the presentation. The public is entitled to answers. Why did the officer shoot? Well, that's pretty obvious. Why did the suspect shoot? We don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. There's nothing to submit to the DA's office for review. It's a matter of compiling and documenting, corroborating everything you see on the body cam video, everything that was told on the 911 calls, and interviewing as many people as you can, just to make sure that everything matches. And in my view, everything absolutely matches. There's no question. This was an absolutely 100% justified shooting by the officer. And it's a matter of, this is what happened, this is what we know, and leaving no stone unturned because of the tragic loss of a death of an officer.
Hey, Phil, can you take me into the mind of those investigators?
I've done that many times, and it's hard. You got to put your humanity aside and do the job. One of the terrible things that we have to do when we're investigating an officer-involved shooting that results in the officer's death is go to the officer's autopsy, and that's really hard because you're looking at a brother officer laying on one of us. So once you get that emotional humanity put in a box, then you start doing your job and checking everything that you can check, and hoping that you get an answer. But we may not ever get an answer why this kid did this. We don't, you just don't know what the outcome's going to be of the investigation into him, his background, his state of mind. All that is stuff that you try to look into, and then there's time to be sad and be upset and cry when you get home.
That's talking to us here earlier this morning, as we've been keeping you covered all morning long here when this procession first started at 9 o'clock as they made their way. I'm Evan Schreiber. Thanks for sticking with us alongside. Yeah.
And we're taking in these images. We have been all morning. The procession lasting well more than an hour. I mean, we've seen hundreds of people show up, officers from all across the country, including those right here in Southern Nevada, all paying tribute to Officer Roscow. 17 years with the North Las Vegas Police Department, but it wasn't just here at home. Recognition for Officer Roscow making the ultimate sacrifice is also being shown in other parts of the country.
Central Church in Henderson is where you're seeing this live look right now, and you're seeing the last of the officers file in. So don't go anywhere. We are live here on the CW, and you can stick with us on news3lv.com as we'll be bringing you all the sights and sounds as the entire community pays their respects to this fallen officer.
And we mentioned some of those tributes from across the country. I think we're going to be able to show someone a little bit of that.
Today, I am carrying the blue line flag in this honor. Before I begin this run, I would like to take a moment in silence and prayer to remember fallen North Las Vegas police officer, Department Jason Roscow. Officer Roscow!
So that's Zachary right there. So he's a teenager who lives in Illinois. That's where Officer Roscow is from. And he's carrying the thin blue line flag. And he did that as he ran a mile in honor of fallen officer Jason Roscow. And it just shows the love and support of this man who was taken away way too soon. Not only are we showing that support here in Southern Nevada, but all the way across the country. And this was a run that was organized by the Running for Shoes Heroes. That's a nonprofit that raises awareness and also raises money for law enforcement officers who have fallen while in the line of duty. And it's not just, you know, across the country, but even close neighbors to Officer Roscow, lighting up their neighborhoods in solidarity after finding out that he had been shot.
Yeah, that blue color to represent blue officers here. You know, these were in Officer Jason Roscow's own neighborhood. They honored him with blue lights and blue ribbons. We have some footage there from North Las Vegas that we're working to show you here on our broadcast this morning as we're continuing our coverage here as the procession and funeral has been going on all morning long. Those blue lights and blue ribbons in his North Las Vegas neighborhood, as they say, this was just important to do because Officer Roscow was the stitch in the fabric of their community. I want to let you hear what some of those neighbors had to say as they tell us he was so friendly. He was waving to everyone throughout the day as his sons would just ride their bikes in the neighborhood.
I don't know how he was as an officer, but in the neighborhood, just a mellow, caring individual. Awesome father to the boys. I think that was kind of his life, taking care of his kids.
Those two kids, by the way, two sons, a 9-year-old Grayson, 4-year-old Andrew. Their father shot and killed in the line of duty, the North Las Vegas Police Department officer. As that neighbor right there says, he's just going to remember Officer Roscow as the friendliest guy on his entire street. We've been seeing not only his neighbors speak up, but we've been seeing people at these fundraisers that have been happening all throughout the valley. This was at Texas Roadhouse, the fundraiser that raised money for Officer Roscow's family. They had 10% of the proceeds just going to the officer's two young sons, those two young boys. As the people who put this whole thing together, they say they're just so happy to see how supportive the community has been in this time of grief right now.
When we lose a friend, we want to make sure that they are memorialized, and it takes a community, it takes a village. Please remember my friend.
We are seeing what played out there. We're seeing what played out with just a local business owner who put out his support for the officer.
His name is Neil Sackmurray. He is the owner of Nevada Coin Mart, and he said not only did he know Officer Jason Roscow, but he decided to put this on, and he's always been a big supporter of law enforcement. And so basically this event and all of the food was prepaid. And so people were able to go there and then just give whatever donation they could. And every single dollar that was raised goes straight to the family. 4-year-old Andrew, who lost their dad, who's protecting their community. But this is something that Neil was talking to Andrew about. And he said he's very passionate about our law enforcement community. It's a tight-knit group, not just here in Las Vegas, but it's that support that's shown nationwide here.
Situation.
People just need to basically, respect them, that they, police officers are families, and, people out there that they're supporting as well and stuff. They're not just this, a guy in a badge out there and stuff trying to do whatever and stuff. They're actually out there trying to look out for people and stuff and do the right thing.
It's been incredible to see. It's been incredible to see the community come out, and it's been incredible to see the signs of support for this fallen officer, Officer Jason Roscow. You see right now, as that shot is live inside Central Church in Henderson, where his funeral is set to begin any minute. And we're going to have it to you live here on ARC Las Vegas, on the CW, and News3LV.com, as we've been following along since this procession started about 8:45 this morning.
And one of the first people you're going to hear from is Pastor Michael Kitchen of Central Church in Henderson. And again, that's just moments away. Right now, we're now able to see the live feed of this celebration of life. We're going to hear from family members. We're going to hear from some of his colleagues during this.
right now. So we thank you for tuning in with us here on news3lv.com, and we're going to let you listen into this service in its entirety as our coverage continues here this morning.
Detail left. Face. Forward.
Good morning and welcome to Central Church. My name is Michael Kitchen and I serve as one of the pastors here. And on behalf of the Roscow family, I would just like to thank everyone in attendance today and especially all the people that made today possible. Special thank you to our community and the overwhelming support that you have provided to everyone involved. Thank you to the North Las Vegas Police Department and especially the entire Honor Guard. The law enforcement community has a unique calling that many outside the community simply just don't understand. For most officers, it can only be explained as they just want to help those who cannot. It's to serve, protect, and defend each and every one of us from all the evils that are going on. Who shall I send? Who will go for us? Officer Jason Roscoe had replied, "Here I am. Send me." Officer Roscoe heard that call and made the ultimate sacrifice and laid down his life serving and protecting this community. Today we celebrate the life of North Las Vegas police officer Jason Paul Roscow. We have lost a father, a son, a brother, a friend, mentor, community hero, and military veteran. Jason was the best of the best, and he dedicated his entire life to serving and protecting this community and our nation Here to honor a man who left behind a great legacy. This will be a service where we can reflect and remember the moments that we shared together and all the precious memories that were created together. This will be a time where we can honor, remember, and celebrate the life of Jason Roscow. Today is bittersweet. It's bitter because we've lost a loved one. But it's sweet because we know that Jason is walking the streets of heaven, smiling down. Adversity provides opportunity for unification. We've seen that in abundance over the last week and a half between all of the agencies in this community and the entire community itself. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you right now with heavy hearts. Lord, we thank you that we don't have to experience these times alone. Not only have you promised to come along beside us, to be our shepherd and to comfort us, but you have blessed us with friends and family and the benefits of drawing strength from one another. So God, we pray that you will hold us in your powerful, caring hands during this time and be glorified in our lives. Grant us your comfort so that we may also comfort others who are hurting. We thank you, God, for Jason. We thank you for the opportunity to have known him in this life. We thank you for the legacy and the life that he has left behind. I pray for everyone gathered here today with grieving hearts. Help them release tears if they need to as they say their goodbyes for now. And remind them that you are the hope in the midst of all this pain. We pray for all these things in your name. Amen. At this time, I'd like to invite to the stage North Las Vegas Police Department Chief Jacqueline Rabat.
We gather here today with heavy hearts to honor the life and legacy of his passing is a profound loss, not just for his family and fellow officers, but for every person who had the privilege of knowing him and for the countless lives he touched through his service. Officer Roscow's from becoming a volunteer firefighter to serving 6 years in the United States Air Force as a security police officer, then dedicating him, Jason always answered the call to protect and serve. He embodied what it means to be a police officer. He lived that oath every day. He made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of others, never hesitating to put the needs of others before his. Recently, I learned that he was a strong supporter of a nonprofit organization founded by one of our own employees. He dedicated his time, money, and gifts to help children in need. His generosity and compassion made a real difference in the lives of children he touched. Jason found his passion in the traffic division as a motor officer. He took immense pride in keeping our roads safe, something we can certainly measure by the number of citations that he wrote. Just telling the number of complaints we received from those who may or may not have had the pleasure of being advised by Officer Roscow on a traffic infraction. Those of you who know. Officer Roscow will receive the highest commendation for his service and sacrifice, the Medal of Honor. For his heroic actions on February 4th, 2025, he receives this honor in recognition of his quick response, unwavering determination, and courage to stay in the fight despite being gravely injured. He did all of this to protect innocent civilians, his fellow officers, and the community he loved. To his family, there are no words that can, but I do know this: the morals, the values, the work ethic that you instilled in him made him the remarkable man, officer, and hero we honor today. I am grateful and blessed that you have allowed us to honor Jason here in the community he protected with the same dedication that he lived by. To his son, we will stand by you always. You will hear the stories of your father, know how many lives he's touched, and feel the unwavering support from a sea of people who will love you and always be there for you. Uniform. This loss reminds us of the risks you take every day, the sacrifices you make, and the courage you show. Few outside of this profession can truly understand the bond we share and family, mourning the loss of our brother. How we honor our fallen, and I'd like each of you to take a few moments to think about how you honor our fallen. I believe we have a few of the same thoughts. We wear shirts, wristbands, we etch their names in memorial walls and on monuments. All of this shows our love and support. But I believe for Jason, he deserves more. He deserves a commitment from each of us, a commitment to honor his memory by coming together as one. How can we do that? By being there for each other, not just in times of sorrow or joy, but in everyday moments. By checking in, offering support, and standing united. Our strength and to all of those who've made the ultimate sacrifice. As we say our goodbyes, let us not only grieve his passing, but also celebrate his life, his service, and the impact he had. Let us honor him by continuing the work that he so passionately believed in, protecting, serving. Our strength and resilience will shine bright. Jason will see it and he will present it, but your legacy will never fade. We carry you in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for your leadership, your words of encouragement, your message of unity. May I please welcome North Las Vegas Police Department Lieutenant Kenny Lee.
Good morning. First, I'd like to offer thank yous to all of the outstanding individuals and support groups in this room. It has been a very trying time for our department and for those closest to Jason. The outpouring of support has been absolutely touching and overwhelming. I first met Jason in November of 2009. It was graveyard. It's about 28 to 30 degrees outside, and he was sweating profusely in the locker room. And I thought he was having a medical condition, and he turned to me and says, "Oh no, I just sweat all the time." Sense of humor. In fact, I came to the traffic unit during COVID, and we were all trying to figure out if we were going to get the vaccine. And Jason and Trevor were adamant that we needed to smoke cigarettes because their cigarettes have kept them from getting the COVID. And in fact, Jason never did get that COVID. So there must have been something to it. Jason was very passionate about his job, about his family, about his friends, about his children. He would come into my office often, and we would sit and chat about our children and about the complaints that I would receive as a supervisor. It was often joked that Jason would cite his own mother if she was speeding. And in fact, Ann, she confirmed that just yesterday when I spoke to her about it. So the world was a better place with Jason in it. And in closing, I want to thank him for the happiness that he brought into not only my life, but into the lives of his family, his children, friends, other officers in other jurisdictions. Every life he touched, he left a mark. Jason, we love you, brother, and we'll take it from here.
Thank you, Lieutenant Lee, for the stories, the memory, rights.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Darrell Wrights of the North Las Vegas Police Department. It's my honor to say a few words about the life of my hero, Jason Roscow. Jason Roscow was a freaking goofball, and I absolutely loved him for it. Between Andrew, Grayson, and Jason, I'm pretty sure Jason was the biggest kid in the family, a child trapped in a man's body. He was fun, funny, passionate, anal retentive, and orderly, caring, loving. He was the class clown, a joker, a smoker. He always wanted everyone around him to have a good time. He was a blast to be around, and there was never a dull moment if Jason was nearby. He was a hard worker. He was dedicated. He was selfless. Jason loved people, and he loved his two boys above all else. Jason was the life of the party. In honor of Jason, I would love to tell y'all one of his jokes. The only problem is I can't think of a single one of Jason's jokes that is appropriate for this setting. Also, just so y'all know, I'm picturing everybody in here in their underwear right now. Not because it's helping calm my nerves or make this speech any better. That's because that's what Jason would be doing. One of my guys told me this week he couldn't find his Class A pants. I said, bro, you don't need any pants. This is Jason's funeral. Jason was always talking about having a pants-off party. Nobody said it couldn't be today. And that rain this morning, that was just one more way of Jason having the last joke on us. Jason and I first met and took that goofball for 20 weeks, and we exchanged stupid jokes and silly comments while we're supposed to be learning how to become cops. I don't have enough time to tell you all the stories from the last 18 years, so I can't explain to you why Jason ended up fully naked in the middle of the traffic division while at work one day. I can't embarrass Jason by telling you all how he once pooped his pants while riding his motorcycle. That happened. And I definitely don't have enough time to list all the ways that we messed with Jason, before I'd never let Jason find out that I was the one who was constantly hiding his pack of cigarettes just to watch him get all flustered up and go into a frenzy. Now, I guess we all know that one. There's a lot of motor officers in the room today, and they will all tell you that working in the traffic division was Jason's favorite part of his career. They'll say his passion was riding a motorcycle, and they're not wrong. The days when Officer Jason P. Roscow cruised the streets of North Las Vegas, along with his sidekick Flash from the Dukes of Hazzard, were legendary. Jason could ride any cone pattern out there with a cigarette in his mouth and sweat dripping off his chin. He had a passion for traffic. The favorite part of Jason's career was being able to help people and being able to make a difference. And he did just that. Jason was constantly expressing his love for other people. Jason made a difference in the lives he touched. This last year, Jason left the traffic division and came back to patrol. He'd like me to know. On Jason's survey, he wrote, "I look pretty damn good in a mirror." And I just remember thinking to myself, yeah, this is going to be a fun year. And it was. Jason kept us on our toes, made sure every single day we had as much fun as we possibly could. Every morning, the squad and I looked forward to seeing Jason in the briefing room with his cooler, unpack his chocolate milk, his pack of mini donuts, and wondering what inappropriate thing was about to come out of his mouth. He always offered to share everything he had with everybody. He'd say, "I've got candy bars and cigarettes if anybody wants some. Come over to my house, I got stuff for everybody." And he meant it. And we did. We did go to Jason's house at least half a dozen times. We played cornhole. We got drunk together. We just laughed and had fun. And that was Jason, always making sure that everybody else enjoyed life to the fullest. Any of us who ever worked with Jason remember the smoke breaks. Jason would say, "Come on, Sarge, let's spend some time together. Let's carve out that time and talk about our families and what we were going through. The hardships, the success stories, and oftentimes just talk about nonsense and share a laugh." Jason was always there. He was always present. He made sure to be there for those around him. He wore his heart on his sleeve. You never had to wonder how Jason felt about anything. If he thought it, he was saying it. Jason had much less of a filter than any of Jason made it apparent and stressed it to make it a point to us all. Some of you may have seen the social media posts of our squad photos that we took last Tuesday morning. Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Squad Photo Day. We had been together as a squad for a full year by that point and specifically carved out that day as an opportunity to take one last family photo. The interesting thing about that day is we knew as the day began that it was going to be the last time we would all be together. We just had no idea of the magnitude to which that would ring true. We came in early, skipped briefing so we could go to a local park and take our picture. We lined up, took a few photographs in front of the waterfalls and the palm trees, and we joked about how we looked like a bunch of high school kids getting ready to go to prom together. Photos were taken and we were done. Mission accomplished. But none of us wanted to leave the park. None of us wanted to leave each other and give up our last moments together. So Jason said something along the lines of, "Well, are you guys ready for our real squad photos? Let's go to the playground." And we did. Nobody missed a beat. The whole squad went to the playground, laughing and giggling like a bunch of kids, and we proceeded to use the swing set and teeter-totter. Picnic table may have been misused and abused a little bit. And next thing you knew, the whole squad climbed up into a rope jungle gym, and that's where we took our photo. North Las Vegas Police, a group of amazing cops who protect and serve the community and do it better than anyone else could ever do. But a bunch of children at heart who love to have fun. Roscow. Jason's impact and influence on this department and everyone he encountered was undeniable. That's who he was, the life of the party. I saw Jason again at lunch that day. We talked about Grayson and Andrew and how much Jason was looking forward to going back to Illinois with his boys this summer. That's where his heart was, in Illinois. He told me he was real back home. I'm not the same person today that I was last Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. None of us are. Many of us are broken, grieving, angry, sad, empty inside. Here, I'm sorry for our loss. I'm not the same man I was last week, and I'm not the same man that I was 18 years ago. I'm stronger now than I was then, and I'm a better person for having known Jason. He gave it his all in everything he did. He gave it his all as a cop, as a friend, as a son, brother, and as a father to Andrew and Grayson. Grayson, Andrew, your daddy loves you. You two are his everything. Ann, Irvin, Michael, Jason loves your entire family. His world revolved around you. If there's one thing I learned from Jason, it's to enjoy life to the fullest and savor every moment. Enjoy your loved ones and truly love other people. Show that love every chance you get. Don't put off till tomorrow the love that you can share today. Let's honor Jason's memory as we continue to live our lives. Let's laugh. Let's have fun. Let's be strong. Let's love one another.
Thank you, Sergeant Wrights. Thank you for that insight on who Jason was and his heart. I'd like to welcome to the stage North Las Vegas Police Department Officer MC Horn.
I thought of a few different ways to start this. Going back and forth in my mind eventually led me to realize that there would only be one true way to deliver this message. The way that Roscoe knew best, raw and honest. But for the sake of today, I'll try my best to keep the inappropriate jokes to a minimum, just as he did. As a new officer to North Las Vegas PD, I was blessed enough to experience an amazing squad with such solid individuals. Among the many was our dear friend, Jason Roscow. Jason to me is a true measure of friendship, not being found in a clock's face, but rather in the depth of shared bonds that outlast time itself. I met Jason last year, where we spent the next several months strengthening our bond. Every morning for him started off with a crazy joke, a bottle of chocolate milk, and Hostess powdered mini donuts that he would offer to everyone in the briefing room. Sometimes, if his jokes were too crazy to share in the briefing room, over time, we developed a routine. Our usual morning would consist of loading up our patrol cars, coffee at El Yante Starbucks, or having a smoke session before heading out to calls. I even went out and bought a vape to use while he smoked his green Marlboros. I just never had the heart to tell him that my vape actually had 0 nicotine because I never wanted him to feel left out. Family, his sons Grayson and Andrew, along with the many experiences he had as an officer doing the job he loved so much. This daily routine eventually developed into a great tandem on the streets, where he would quickly turn into one of my favorite officers to work with. When I needed help or someone to be my Code 9, he was always there, willing to take the call. "I'll do it for you, MC," is what he would always say. Although I was new, Jason never made me feel out of place or inexperienced. He treated me with respect and spoke to me as if I was an experienced vet, valuing my opinions and viewpoints which allowed me to comfortably develop my skills as a fellow officer. The morning of his passing, I heard Jason over the radio. He was at Craig Ranch Park patrolling on foot. I called him and I asked him what he was doing. He said, "Oh, you know, I'm just over here checking out the hot moms." Of course you are, I thought to myself. Park together, talk about life events, the good, the bad, the ugly, politics, life experiences, and simple future plans. He assured me that going to graveyard shift, I could call him whenever I had any questions because he would always make sure to answer his phone just for me. Little did I know that such a routine catch-up would turn into the last time I would see him. Out of the many things I have learned from him, I learned that it takes courage, charisma, and character to wake up every day and serve the people of this community. Roscow carried his badge for 17 years and stood behind its values daily. He lived his life vividly, unapologetically, and continued to light up any room just being a genuine human being with a kindred heart, true representation of helping others selflessly. I will always admire his ability through laughter and award-winning humor, dirty jokes and all. Through it all, his family, and he loved his squad. His time among us was brief, yet he lives in our hearts forever. Though now his journey ends, the lessons he leaves behind remain, teaching us truly what lasts, love that outlives the flesh. His memories shine bright, even death's darkness. These memories that each of us have experienced will light our way, even when we feel lost. We honor him now for the joy he brought through the badge he wore and the hope.
Thank you, Officer Horn. Thank you for sharing with us. At this time, I'd like everyone to help me welcome to the stage Jason's older brother, Michael Roscow.
Big crowd. I know this is a celebration of Jason's life, and there's some phenomenal stories, but I really need to thank a number of people and organizations before I say anything about Jason. The abundance of support we've received has been overwhelming. Thank you to all of you for being here. Most importantly, thank you to the North Las Vegas Police Department. I know there's been a lot of resources from departments around the area. It's greatly appreciated. The support we felt is greatly appreciated. Of course, I have to say a special thanks to Trevor, Alex, and Aaron for helping me through this. And to you. I grieve with you. I want to extend a very help thank you to Palm Mortuary and Central Church. This is just phenomenal and greatly appreciated. It's a wonderful celebration of Jay's life. We can't imagine it. You have to remember we come from a small town of 600 people. There's more people in this building than in our hometown, but it's a little overwhelming. Of course, I also want to thank the first responders, UMC Trauma. There's even a Marine out there whose name we may never know, I guess, that tried to offer support and aid. I want to mention Jason's neighbors as well. It was touching. His streets lit up in blue ribbons. The blue lights at night are, while we're in his home, are comforting. I want to say thank you to Stephanie and Becky, of course. While I've been here, it's been a difficult time. Pass my gratitude on to whomever you feel needs it And again, thank all of you for being here. Grieving with us helps, comforts us in our time of need, difficult time. You know, my parents would say just saying thank you is not enough. It just comes across as empty words. They want you to know that your kindness and the love of Jay is here today in spirit, so he knows just how much he's loved and by how many people. So I'll talk a little bit about my brother. He really, truly was a gift from God. Our family was blessed with him. He was the baby of our family. He was a little bit of a surprise. He came along 8 years after my youngest sister. He was doted on. We loved him dearly. It's probably what created his personality, I suppose, as the baby of the family. We all have one. He meant so much to us. He definitely enjoyed life, as I've heard from the other speakers, and it's hard to get up here, and it's touching the comments you've shared. It means a lot to me and my family. We always said he was the shining star of the family. He got the looks. He had a big smile, big personality. The upbringing he had, he was also kind-hearted and just a good person. He really did make friends wherever he went. We've heard stories from high school friends that have been military, and of course the police department. It might be obvious, but he loved his boys dearly. I worry about them. And I know all of you will help look out for them, because that's really what meant the most to him. You could see it in the photos. He just had a different look, a different smile when they were around.
Pardon the interruption. You've been watching the funeral for Officer Jason Roscow. We are now in our noon hour, but we are going to watch this funeral service, this touching service, in its entirety. Let's go back and listen in.
You have to remember, we're from a small town. We don't have a fire department that's fully staffed. When they get the alarm, they rush there, and they're all volunteers. It's a very small town thing. But he wanted more from life, and so he eventually wanted to leave. And as you can imagine, it was a very tough decision for him, leaving a small town, his close friends, and of course the Hollow. He grew up in Roscow Hollow, and we were fortunate to be surrounded by family. Family means a lot to us, our holidays, our gatherings. I remember my grandmother cooking for 50 people, all family. So much so that when she built a new house, she had 2 stoves put in. He left for the Air Force, though. That was his ticket out of the small town USA. Became a security police officer, and it was mentioned earlier, they got to wear a beret and a badge, and he was so very proud of that uniform, and we were proud of him. But it took him away from us. He was stationed around the world. He was in combat zones, Kuwait, Iraq, South Korea. He loved what he was doing, and I guess searching vehicles started back in the Air Force, pulling people over. After he got out of the Air Force, of course, he ended up here. He loved it, being a part of you, part of the brotherhood. He's out here and putting himself in harm's way. The brotherhood he had with Trevor made us a little more comfortable. It's amazing the bond you develop. Only the police officers really know what that bond is. It's special. And having Trevor there gave us great comfort, knowing that he had somebody that was as close as a brother could be. But he was, at heart, a small-town guy. And I know we say he's just, but there was a fire beneath that exterior. and I'm sure some of you have seen his emotions. He just wanted to have fun. He really wanted to have fun with the people he liked, the people he loved, do the things he loved. So I think that's what I'd want for you to take home from Jason, is go home and do the things you like with the. Lastly, I think it's important. We need to thank God for a very special gift, very special surprise gift, and we thank him. I thank all of you. And I'll leave you with the Godspeed on your journey through life. Thanks for being here, and thanks on behalf of the family.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your brother with us. Thank you for your commitment to your family, especially over the last week of getting all things taken care of. This time, we'd like to share a video with you that has been prepared by the family. Please.
What?
Yeah.
Just change him.
I didn't.
Stop.
I can't.
It's poop.
It stinks.
Oh, buddy. Oh, look at that little face. I don't want it has to be on my booty, huh? Ian?
Oh God, the smell.
here, Grayson. Grayson. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is an honor to be here and to grieve with the community. My name is Father Miguel, pastor of St. Christopher Parish in North Las Vegas. Where I live, it's mostly Spanish-speaking, and we have an expression that I share with family. I share the heaviness of my heart with you. I want to share the burden you have, to grieve with you, to cry with you. And my job today is to share that sense of good news, in hope, in the faith that Jason grew up in and his family knows. In the Catholic tradition, our view is that life is not ended, it is transformed. As we move from one state of living to a full state of living, the wholeness of life. So this is a message of faith, hope, and love. And the message that Jason seems to have lived well is all of those, but mostly love. So that's the message today, and I share some reflections from the scriptures to encourage all of us in that way of life that is love. From Paul's letter to the Philippians, he reminds the early faith community, brothers and sisters, our citizenship is in heaven. And from heaven we also await a Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ. He will change our lowly body to conform with His glorified body by the power that enables Him also to bring all things into subjection to Himself. And we read in 1 Thessalonians, brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be unaware about those who have fallen asleep. Hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose, so too will God, through Jesus, bring with Him those who have fallen asleep. Indeed, we tell you this on the word of the Lord, that we who are alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will surely not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord Himself, with a word of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God, then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore, console and comfort one another. In baptism, we are made one with death. In the Catholic tradition, we call this the Paschal mystery. And we know that the Paschal mystery is celebrated every Lord's Day, the Sunday, where we enjoy the Eucharist, that sense of God with us in a very real way, in that sacramental way. We learn from the book of Revelation a sense of what is to come, that future that awaits us, the hope that we share. John, in his writing the book of Revelation, the Apocalypse, I saw the dead, the great and the lowly, standing before the throne, and scrolls were opened. Then another scroll was opened, the book of life. The dead were judged according to their deeds. But what was written in the scroll, by what was written in the of its dead, then death and Hades gave up their dead. All the dead were judged according to their deeds. Then death and Hades were thrown into the pool of fire. Anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the pool of fire. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. Officer Jason was full of life and love. Now, in Catholic parlance, in our way of speaking, I think we could safely say, and surely the officers will agree, that Jason was no saint, but he was holy. He was full of wholeness, from dirty joke to tender loving of his children and family. He was full of life, and an abundance of life that could be shared, and the passion to protect life. even at the risk of his own. Jason, his life was a part of many other people's lives. And so, as we read in the gospel, as the Father loves me, Jesus says, so I also love you. Remain in my love, the Father's commandments, and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, another, as I love you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. To his fellow officers, to his family, and to our community in North Las Vegas and throughout this city of Las Vegas, we know that he gave his life because he was a friend, not because of hate or bitterness or greediness, but because he was full of life. And that life is transformed. It has not ended. He is near us now. Officer Jason, may you rest in peace and know the eternal rest of God in his joy and abundance of life forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Father Rowan, for your message of hope and love and comfort to each and every one of us. And at this time, we have a second video for you that's been prepared by the North Las Vegas Police Department. At the conclusion of this video, the Honor Guard will begin their ceremonies. And for all the young ones that are in attendance today, there will be loud noises, so just be prepared for that. Enjoy.
It's gonna be a long one, another graveyard shift, as he said to his wife and kids. It's been his life, just like his dad's, driving away under the weight of the badge. He's seen it all in his 15 years, watching our backs, facing our fears. Lord,
I worked with him when I was in motors and he was in patrol. He would always constantly come to the crashes and ask me questions and ask about how he could get into motors. He was super jazzed about testing for motors. Did an interview, he got picked up. Tim and I started to train him and Trevor. They were inseparable. Trevor struggled through school, and Jason was an excellent student. Started to get a little cocky after doing slow cone and the offset 90s. And trying to finish up the last gate. He was always having a little issue with that last gate. And then he was like, I'm making it. And he promptly went over the curb into the light pole. That was right there. Made Trevor feel a lot better.
He did well at that competition. Jay was one of the few riders. We have some amazing riders we have always in traffic. Most of them, you set up a pattern, you give them 4 or 5 tries, and they figure it out. And it was the second time. And when I came, I was like, let's make hard patterns. And we'd make the hardest stinking pattern out here and watch people crash and laugh. And then send Jay in there, and he's like, done. And it's just amazing to watch just how smooth and his posture and how he changed positions and looked like he was eating his microphone all the time in his mouth. He just had a good time. He would take us for training rides through the parks, and he would fit that motorcycle between two poles, and you were like, I don't know, and then you'd see everybody else behind him tippy-toe the motorcycle through the thing, because there's no way in hell you should have made that corner. But Jay made it look easy.
The one thing about Jason is patience was not a virtue necessarily that he had. You know, and it was funny watching him try and teach people how to ride a motorcycle. The thing, I mean, I felt like with Jay, if Jay was out there, if you got traffic stopped by Jason Roscow, he was going to be in you. Because that's the way he was. He and I had a number of conversations about this because I would get complaints on him periodically, often. And he would, and I would tell him, I'm like, dude, this is, he felt like it was a personal attack on him for you to commit a traffic violation in front of him. And I'm like, dude, they're only doing it because they don't see you. It has nothing to do with just you. And but he was so steady with that stuff and always was like that. And the other side of that coin is if I needed to send a traffic officer to an elementary school to talk to kids, that was Jay, because he was in his element with that stuff.
I hope that it's my love that makes you will. Oh, you got so much of this life left to live. Not the thought of you, just like I late at night. I'm walking right beside you.
You know, as far as Jason goes, as always, he's just going to be missed, and he just was that on so much. And again, it wasn't as for his expertise and for his knowledge, but he was just one of the few go-to guys. You could always call him, dude, if I needed a class taught, if I need someone to help with the training, you name it. Throughout my career and the things that I did, he was on that short list of go-to, never had to worry about him, always would do the right thing guy. And I think he was that way in his personal life as well as his work life, and it just showed. And you honestly can't.
So glad that I'm up.
Jay loved a few things. He loved work. He liked helping people, and his boys. That's what he called them. I got the boys. I got to do this. His whole world revolved around his two boys.
You meant a lot to everybody. You impacted a lot of people, not just as a whole, but like individually. And one thing you did teach me is just to be a good father. You loved your kids. You always talked about Grayson and Andrew. And
you know, Jason, we're out here at motor school in your midst. I'm gonna miss wondering where you're at. You have to ask the guys, hey, anybody know where Jason's at? Oh, he got to go drop his son off at daycare. Or you coming up and go, hey, Mike, I got to leave because my son just tried to run away from daycare. We're going to miss that. Going to miss all the Mountain Dew glasses lined up on the table while we're eating. Most of all, just going to miss your laugh, brother. Thanks.
Just want your family to know that you were there for all of us. And they did a great job raising you. You did a great job raising your boys. And they'll remember you, and we'll remember you forever. Rest in peace, buddy. You'll be missed.
But I miss you, my friend.
You're a great father, great guy, just all around. And the world is definitely not a better place because you're not in it. And thank you. Thank you for being part of my life.
Jason, my brother, the baby of our family, you brought us so much joy. And it's hard to say goodbye. Just know that we love you, and we leave you in God's hands. God bless you.
Hey, Jay, you want a 493, bud? Come on out here. Let's have a smoke. And I'd like to read a poem for you too, Jay. And I think this embodies what you are and who you are. May the Valkyries welcome you and lead you through Odin's great battlefield. May they sing your name with love and fury, so that we, your brothers and sisters, might hear it rise from the depths of Valhalla and know that you, my brother, have taken your rightful place amongst the table of kings. For a great man has fallen, a warrior, a chieftain, a father, a brother. Rest in peace, Jay. I love you. Always will.
Control to George.
To George. To George, Officer Roscow, control. This is the final call for P-2090, Officer Jason Roscow. On Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, North Las Vegas Police Officer Jason Roscow answered his final call. John 15:13 tells us, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Officer Roscow embodied the true spirit of a public servant, making the ultimate sacrifice in service to his community. For 17 years, he dedicated himself to protecting and serving the people of North Las Vegas, exemplifying the very definition of a hero. Officer Roscow, you are a gentle soul, a kind spirit, and a true friend to all. You will be missed beyond words. This is the end of watch for P-2090, Officer Jason Roscow. This is your final 10-7. Rest in peace, brother. We have it from here.
Please be seated. Years ago, I was given a poem, and today, not only would I like to share it with you, but Grayson And Andrew, I would like to give it to you. And it reads, "In the beginning, when earth was first made, light was created to show us the way. But with each new day came struggles and fear. Someone was needed to protect once to sway. They'd fight off darkness to save us from woe. So on the 8th day, God made a hero." And boys, your daddy is a hero to all of us. The Bible refers to God in many ways, particularly calling him the Good Shepherd, and that he promises to comfort all of those who mourn. He also tells us that whenever 2 or more are gathered in his name, that he is here. Proverbs 3:5 tells us to trust in the Lord with all of your heart and do not depend on your own understandings. Listen to what God is saying to us as we read his word and reflect on the promises. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff that comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." All of our hearts are tremendously heavy right now, and it's easy to become disconnected, confused, scared, and angry about a lot of things. Romans 12:1 tells us, "Do not let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good." Continue to stand the line. Continue to stand in the gap between good and evil, one of you. It's extremely important that we stay unified as a community and pull together in times like these. We must not allow the evil of the world to get a hold of our hearts and dictate our actions. Each and every one of you are loved. Ask if anyone called Jason friend, family, a brother in arms, to please stand with me now to show their family our unwavering support. Grayson, Andrew, the entire Roscow family, I'd like you to take a minute and look around. And remember everyone that is standing with you today for the days, the weeks, and the years to come. We're not alone. That this community is your light. I will ask everyone to remain standing as we close our time in prayer. Please repeat softly in your own hearts. Lord, thank you for loving me. Lord, I believe in you, I love you, and I trust you. Thank you for protecting me every day that I wear this uniform. Partners, and all of my loved ones. Give me the strength and the wisdom needed each day to serve and protect the community that you've entrusted me with. When duty calls me to danger, be with me and give me the courage to overcome. Lord, I give my life to you. Thank you for giving me this day and all the days to come. May everything that I do bring honor and glory to your name. Lord, thank you for Jason's life and all the years that we shared with him. We lift him up to you today in the honor that we saw in him and the love that we felt from him. Please give us the strength to leave him in your care, and we ask for your comfort today. Amen. Guard escorts the Roscow family that was part of the procession out the north of the auditorium. Thank you for joining us today. This will conclude our services. There will be no gravesite. There will be no procession out. We want to thank you very much of the church and the entire community lobby. We also have a quiet room set aside in the north hallway that has counselors in it if anyone just needs someone to speak to. But as you continue to move through your day and your week, remember that you are loved. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Look, I'm popping up right there. No one has told me anything. No. Okay. I'll say it.
You stayed here for nothing.
That's all right.
Thank you, Chloe.
3 hours.